one corner, Joey Gallo. This Las Vegas slugger is known to deliver some of the longest home runs in the game today.
And that ball's hit well. Gone!
Demolishing baseballs with a power punch. In the other corner, Chris Davis. This Californian has landed plenty of haymakers against the Rangers.
Into the seats. And Davis has just hit a two-run homer.
Showing off his heavy hands.
Chris Davis, that one is gone.
This home run duel is a heavyweight title bout.
Welcome in. If you like sunshine, we've got plenty for you tonight. The Rangers and the A's. Final game of a two-game series here at Globe Life Park. We'll see if these two brutes have more left in them tonight after a home run barrage yesterday in the opener. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond alongside Mr. Ranger Tom Greed. Yesterday, a wild one. The Rangers come from behind to win it, and they did it with the long ball last night.
The Rangers scored 7 last night. All 7 runs came by way of the home run. Through 5 innings, they only had 1 run. It was Robinson Chirino's home run to left field, a rope down the left field line. The second run came on Jurickson Profar's 419-foot home run. Down 4-2. Shin-Soo Choo with a 2-run homer made it 4-4. In the 8th inning, tie ball game, Adrian Beltre's home run made it 5-4. And then for good measure and a little insurance, Joey Gallo, 117.5 miles an hour. That home run made the final score 7-4.
So that gives them a chance tonight to sweep this series, something they haven't done all year. Of course, you can't sweep if you don't win the opener. But one of the ways they've been winning games these days has been like last night, come from behind.
7 wins, the last 7 wins, the Rangers have come from behind. In 5 of them, it's been after the 7th inning. Down but never out. How's it happened? Choo, 3rd career walk-off home run. Odor had a 3-run double in the 9th against Seattle. Robinson Chirinos, a 2-run double in the 7th against Seattle. Ronald Guzman, a big hit in the 10th inning against the Angels. And last night, of course, Adrian Beltre in the 8th inning had a home run to make the score 5-4. It wouldn't happen without good relief pitching in those same games. The bullpen ERA late in the game is under 2.
Yeah, that's a very good point as well. Right now, it's fun. This team's winning ball games, and they're winning exciting ball games. And always fun when Bartolo Colon is on the hill. Look, he's a different pitcher today than he used to be. We're going to put one of his old skills in the spotlight when we come back. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Still sunny, still warm tonight. Final game of this quick 2-game series, A's and Rangers. And as we tease going into break, Big Bart on the mound today. There was a day, Tom, where this guy could light up the radar gun, punch a lot of dudes out. We put him in our Shiner Box spotlight tonight.
Well, everybody knows that he needs one more win to tie Juan Marichal for first place among Dominican pitchers. What a lot of people, including me, didn't know is that he needs a couple of strikeouts to get 2,500 strikeouts. Only CC Sabathia and Justin Verlander among active pitchers have more. So a couple of nice milestones for him to shoot for tonight. Get a win, tie Juan Marichal with 243 wins, strike out 2 or more, and get to 2,500.
So good goals for the big sexy tonight is he gets ready to go. Let's take a look at the lineup he'll face from Oakland today. Oakland 31-30, and the A's will lead it off with center fielder Dustin Fowler. Marcus Semien will be at shortstop batting second. Jed Lowry bats third. Then it's Chris Davis, Matt Olson, and Matt Chapman in the middle. Jonathan Lucroy catching, Mark Canha in left, and Chad Pinder, the right fielder, bats ninth. A's 7.5 back of Seattle.
And with Bartolo Colon on the mound, let's look at the pitch arsenal. He throws a lot of 2-seam fastballs. That's a sinking fastball. It'll tail down and away to a left-hand hitter. He'll throw some 4-seam fastballs when he wants to put a little extra on it, 16% of the time, and he'll mix in an occasional slider and every now and then a changeup. But If things are rolling for him, usually it's because it's one sinker after another and a lot of ground balls. That's what he's shooting for.
A little bit high, 1-1 to Dustin Fowler. First pitch today. It's 95 degrees, our game time temperature. And that one's just a little bit in. Not missing by a whole lot. 2-1 the count.
Yep, that's by design. He's trying to start that inside and make it come back and catch the corner, and the last two have just missed.
This time Fowler again. Very discerning eye. And that's where we've seen Bartolo be so good this year. Is he's been getting a lot of those calls. He's just missing for him, and now a strike called, and it runs the count full on Fowler. 2 wins, 3 losses for Cologne, and a .421 earned run average. Bouncer first base.
Whoa.
Nice stop by Guzman, who will race to the bag in front of Fowler. 1 away.
That's a nice pickup right there. Looked like a harmless ground ball off the bat until it took that final hop. And then it takes some talent, some hand-eye coordination to be able to do that. Ronald's very good at it. And interestingly enough, Dave, Fowler 3-2 hit the same pitch that he took twice in that at bat. Down and in, probably not a strike. And once he got the 2 strikes, he didn't want to take a chance on taking it after having taken it a couple of times in the same at bat.
So Cologne gets his first out and now goes after Simeon with strike 1. 0 for 5 yesterday. Simeon in that leadoff spot. Today moves into the 2-hole. And it's 1-1. Well, that one looked pretty good again, but a no call there. Chris Guccione, the plate umpire. And it looks like he and Simeon are discussing the merits of that pitch. So maybe Simeon confused as to whether or not that one was called. Or maybe he's having words with Chirinos. Uh-oh. And now he's having some words with the Rangers bench.
Fairly harmless sequence of events right there that would lead to any kind of a confrontation.
Well, the heat does strange things to people, Tom. It puts them on edge sometimes.
Well, one guy that wasn't moved by any of it, I'm sure, is Bartolo Colon.
That's the truth. It is hard to ruffle those feathers.
He's not too worried what Simeon thinks or what words might cause in that particular case.
Simeon at .257 for the year, and he shoots this one down the right field line, foul and out of play. I mean, we don't know for sure, but it sure seemed like that was just a difference of opinion over the merits of that pitch. Maybe a little barking from the Rangers bench about it being a good pitch.
The guys on the Ranger bench kind of stood up and moved forward a little bit.
Liner right out to second base, and Odor positioned perfectly, and Simeon with a scorching line out. There are 2 away.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered by Chicken Express. Joey Gallo in left field with Delino in center, Nomar in right field. In the infield, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa back at third base, Ronald Guzman over at first base, up the middle Profar and Odor, behind the plate Robinson Chirinos.
First pitch strike now to Lowry. And Lowry .294 average. You see, he's seen a decent amount of Bartolo Colon in his career, 3 for 10 against him. It was a fabulous start to the season for Jed Lowry, but he has cooled off, hitting .250 over the last 40 games. Sitting a little over .370 for the first 20 games. That one foul.
Yeah, it almost seems like in today's game, .250 doesn't sound as bad as it used to. .250 is actually pretty representative.
It's the new 300.
Not quite, but it means a lot different. .250 means much something much different. There's a better way to say it. Something much different today than it used to.
Lowry down in the count here, 1-2.
A lot of pretty good hitters wish they were hitting 250 right now.
There's no doubt. Unlaced foul by Lowry. Stays 1-2. Veteran hitter. He's been around for a while. This is 11th season in the big leagues. Middle infielder, used to play a lot more shortstop than he does today. Now an everyday second baseman, and he sends this one to the left side foul.
You know, in this at bat, Colon has thrown a couple of four-seam fastballs, several of them at 90 miles an hour. He likes to cruise with his sinker at about 86 miles an hour, but there's 3 or 4 more miles an hour in there when he chooses for it.
On 19th pitch of the inning for him, and it's a little bit outside. 2-2.
A little sinking action, took it right out of the strikes. Bartolo's given up 15 home runs. He's been hurt by the home run, and early in this game he's going out of his way to keep the ball away from the middle of the plate.
Lowry sends this one down into the left field corner, just as he did last night, and he has himself a 2-out double.
Just a good example of why Lowry is such a tough out, and why he's had a couple of years, like we mentioned last night, where he's had 45 to 49 doubles. That pitch is probably not a strike. Good tailing action on it, up in the strike zone, and he just goes with it, lines it sharply down the left field line. Second double in the series for Lowry.
His 16th of the season. And bigger still, it gets Chris Davis to the plate for Oakland this inning with somebody on base. And of course, that's the only way he gets up in the first inning. Batting cleanup. And a guy you would much prefer to face with the bases empty because of all the damage he can do. He is 4th in the league with 42 RBIs, tied with his teammate out there at second base in Jet Lowry.
I saw the first inning started yesterday for Matt Moore. Lowry doubled, and Davis short hopped the wall in left field for an RBI double.
Tried to stop himself there, apparently did. 1-1. Very dangerous hitter. Last night Davis also chipped in with another home run. He walked twice. One and two. So Davis has had a little trend going this year that's in contrast to what we've seen from the Rangers. Well, Rangers have hit a lot of home runs, but so many of them have been solo home runs. Davis, on the other hand, he has 14 long balls this year, and 10 of those have come with at least one runner on base.
Yeah, and as a consequence, he's tied for 4th with 42 RBIs in the American League.
Inside, 2-2. Last night Oakland went 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position. This is their first opportunity tonight. We talk about it all the time with Davis. He is very much a home run threat. Since the beginning of the 2016 season, nobody has hit more home runs in the big leagues than Davis, tied with Giancarlo Stanton with 99. Meanwhile, he and Lowry have driven Colon's pitch count way up. This is number 25 in the inning, and it's down low, full count.
Yeah, Bartolo averages less than 15 pitches per inning, the second fewest pitches per inning in the American League. So this is a very unusual. This is 2 innings for him almost.
Well, there you see, it wasn't just last night in which the A's were locked in with runners in scoring position. Last 4 games they have been outstanding. Davis takes strike 3 called. And so Bartolo Colon, he had to work for it, but he gets a strike out of Davis to end the top of the first inning. Nothing doing for Oakland. Now when we come back, the red hot Shin-Soo Choo will lead things off for the Rangers. Well, here we go, bottom of the first inning. Rangers ready to go against Daniel Mengden.
Let's take a look at the Southwest Ranger lineup. Shin-Soo Choo leads it off, followed by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Nomar Mazara, Jurickson Profar, cleanup hitter tonight. Joey Gallo, Rougned Odor, 5th and 6th, followed by Robinson Chirinos, Ronald Guzman, and batting 9th in center field, Delano DeShields.
Mengden starts it off with a strike to Choo. And that went a little bit high, 1-1. Choo's been the hot bat in the order. He has reached base safely in 21 straight games. He shows bunt, and why not? They gave him the entire left side of the field. 2-1.
Yeah, if you want to give the left side of the field to a leadoff hitter, a guy, a veteran like Choo, I'm sure can bunt if he wants to. You're pretty much asking for a base hit.
A 12-game hitting streak going for Choo as well. The streak on which he's hitting .341. 4 home runs, 4 doubles, but 13 walks during the 12-game hitting streak. And he takes a strike. It's a full count.
Yeah, if you get a walk against Daniel Mengden to lead off a ball game, you've accomplished something. He hardly walks anybody. He's only walked 2 batters in a game once this year. Other than that, it's been 1 or less every start.
And there's ball 4. So.
If anybody's going to walk, it's Choo.
Well, we said the same thing last night with Sean Manaea, but he walked the first 2 batters he faced.
Well, for Daniel Mengden, in his pitch arsenal, he likes to throw a 4-seam fastball. That's 55% of the time. Slider, changeup, and a curveball. The 3 complementary pitches, he uses them about the same amount. And he's doing some nice pitching right now for the A's. 6-4 with a .291 ERA. In his last 6 starts, he's been pretty much untouchable. He's on a nice roll right now.
Kiner-Falefa takes one right on the corner for a strike. Isaiah hitting .243. Couple of home runs. And yesterday he followed the Choo walk with one of his own against Sean Manaea, who also had been one of the best at limiting walks. But here tonight we already see Mengden, just the 2nd time this year that he's walked the leadoff hitter in an inning. Which, I mean, he's only walked 9 guys total with the walk to Choo. Double play depth on the infield. And this one rolled down to first. Quick pick by Olson. Semien returns it in time for the double play.
That's about as nicely as you'll see a right-handed throwing first baseman turn a double play. It's harder for a right-hander because he has to turn his whole body. But Olson had this ball on its way to second base about as quickly as a right-hander could possibly do it. Got himself in position to do it before he ever caught the ball. He's already turned his body, throws it before Semien is anywhere near second base. That's a very, very nice play by Olson. Routine play, but you don't see it performed as smoothly as that very often by a right-handed thrower.
No, that really could not have looked easier the way he did it.
No. But experience tells you it's not always performed quite that simply by a right-handed throwing first baseman.
One of the reasons the Oakland A's and their fan base are excited about the future of this team, and that's usually the conversation around the A's is the future. Their guys on the corners, Chapman at third, Olson, who just made that play at first. 2 really bright young players. 1-1 on Mazara as Mengden goes into that single double pump windup. And the swing of this one lashed out to the power alley right field. Mazara will have extra bases. That one's still rolling. Nomar into second, and he'll take a wide turn, but wisely return with a 2-out double.
Yeah, that's a ball that if there's less than 2 outs and you're thinking possible triple all the way, Nomar probably would have been able to get to third. But I think Nomar off the bat is probably thinking double. And with 2 outs, he knows he can't take a chance on being thrown out at third base. So takes a turn at second, but wisely goes back.
So much like Oakland, the Rangers get a 2-out double. And it brings up Jurickson Profar. Profar in the cleanup spot tonight. Switch hitting shortstop, who is top 10 in the league in doubles, top 5 in the league in triples. And he homered last night. First offering, a little bit in. So he gets a look at Daniel Megden in this first inning. Megden, 25 years old. Right-hander from Houston, Texas, was drafted by the Astros long ago. This ball belted, hit well out to right, and gone! Profar for the second night in a row. A 2-run homer in the first, and the Rangers get on the board first tonight.
Jurickson's put a couple of swings on the A's in these 2 ball games. Yesterday hit one 419 feet over the 404 sign in left center field. And this one didn't quite reach the upper deck of the home run porch, but it came pretty close. One of those balls off the bat, you know it's gone. 2-seam fastball. Didn't get enough tailing action to it. Caught too much of the plate. And Jurickson, for the second night in a row, has gone deep with authority.
Gallo takes a healthy rip in the strike one.
Home run number 5 for Jurickson. Way back there in the bottom deck.
418 feet. A good poke by Jurickson Profar. Gallo, who also homered yesterday, takes low, 1-1. And Joey now with 16 home runs. He's 6th in the American League. Megden delivers on the inside corner. 1-2.
Megden's a guy in his last 6 starts. His ERA has been 1.51.
This ball smoked high and deep and way out of here into the upper deck. Your patented Joey Gallo bomb, number 17. 3-0 Rangers.
Mentioned that Jurickson hit one 419 last night. He hit one 418 today. Joey Gallo, 2 entirely different types of home runs. Last night it was a line shot at 117.5 miles an hour. Hardest one hit by a Ranger. Today it's one of the high, majestic home runs. Boy, that's a high pitch, probably out of the strike zone. Jurickson didn't quite reach the upper deck. Joey did, 4 or 5 rows back. The Rangers, after the double play, erased the leadoff walk. Have come back with a vengeance. Double, home run. And for Daniel Megden, he came into the game having given up only 6 home runs in 74 innings. He's given up 2 in the first inning, along with a walk, which is something else he hardly ever gives up. Great start by the Ranger offense. They got primed for this last night with 5 home runs. Hit 2 already in this game.
So 3-0 Rangers. Odor's taking a strike, and Megden right back to him. He's pulled foul. Oh, nice play down there. Fellow brought a glove. Good catch. The home run by Gallo, 429 feet. This ball in the air, left field. Canna coming in, and he'll put it away. The first inning is done, but the Rangers with 2 bombs. And they take a 3-0 lead to the second.
As we head to the top of the second, Bartolo Colon with a little bit of early run support. An interesting note about Bartolo Colon when he pitches, as you'll see, the balls that he uses are very scuffed up, very dirty. He doesn't send the balls in very often. Most pitchers pitch, they'll send the balls in at a regular basis. Not with Bartolo Colon. I sit next to the authenticator, and he said that he'll send him in maybe once every 6 or so batters. It is not that way with all pitchers. So obviously Bartolo, as we have learned, a creature of habit, and the baseballs he pitches with are no exception, guys.
Yeah, that's interesting. And not only a creature of habit, a creature of unique habits, Bartolo Colon. As Olsen flies out to center field, 1 away. For the life of me, I don't know why pitchers would ever give up a baseball that's been scuffed or dented or anything.
Yeah, I'm not a pitcher, so I can't speak for a pitcher. I guess they have to feel confident when they throw the ball. It has to feel right in their hands, and sometimes they get a ball and immediately it doesn't feel right to them, whether the seams are a little bit different. And who knows whether superstition plays into it a little bit. I don't know what goes into that, but generally speaking, the dirtier the ball, the more scuffed up it is, the more movement you'll get on the ball. For a pitcher like Bartolo Colon, that's pretty much the name of his game right now.
You just think of all the pitchers over the years who have gone to great lengths to disguise their scuffing techniques. This ball belted down the left field line, but foul.
That had a little bit of distance on it.
Yes, it did.
Bad direction, but that ball was smoked. And Matt Chapman, we talked about him quite a bit last night. He's a power threat. He's hit 9 home runs so far this year. Hit 14 home runs in about half a season last year for the A's. Good young player. Excellent defense, great arm. Plays every day.
Just 25 years old, a first-round pick in 2014. And he takes ball 4. So Chapman works the walk. The A's have a base runner here in the second inning. Hey, the Houston Astros coming to town to take on the Rangers. Thursday through Sunday, 4 games here with the in-state rival. The Silver Boot Series renewed once again. Great seats still available. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. All right, so a free base runner for Oakland, and Colon does not allow many of those. He had only walked 8 coming in. And he gets after Jonathan Lucroy here. Lucroy batting 7th, but he has good career numbers against Bartolo, 5 for 11. Quick toss over to first as they check in on Chapman. He's 0 for 2 this year in stolen base attempts.
Yeah, last night against the lefty, Matt Moore, we talked about Lucroy batting average down in the mid-100s. Against right-handers, he's been much different, though. He's a 300 hitter against right-handed pitching so far. Small sample, doesn't mean a whole lot. What he's done 2 months into the season, though. That ball might be out of here. No, not quite.
Yeah, pop up to Chirinos. And Lucroy.
Well, that's getting sawed off right there, boy. I don't know how players are today, but in the old days when you hit a ball like that, you heard about it when you got back to the dugout. Guys asked you how your thumbs felt. Did you get all that one? Every cliche in the book, boy. You hit a ball like that, you wanted to go into the other dugout, not back to your dugout.
So a harmless pop-up by Lucroy, 2 away. Mark Canha.
You expect to, get a few jabs from the visiting team when you do something like that.
Guys
you don't expect to get it from your own guys when you come back to the dugout, but I don't know what it's like now. I'm not down in the dugout, but that's the way it used to be. Guys on your own team could be just as bad as the guys on the other team.
One on the corner to Canha for strike 1. Our Kubota power stats tonight. Well, Rangers starting pitchers and relief pitchers, they have really controlled the walks. 3 or fewer in 16 straight It's the longest streak in Major League Baseball this year. And that's one we've talked about it a little bit the last couple of weeks. This team has really done a good job of limiting the mistakes, the free base runners. But I don't know that I would have gotten that one correct, that they have the longest streak in Major League Baseball this year with 3 or fewer per game.
Pretty good streak to have.
Cologne's been wary of Chapman at first base, but he's not going anywhere. And this one popped up again, back our direction. And ooh, boy. Gentleman had a little helmet of ice cream in one hand and thought he'd reach up with the bare hand and make the play with the other. And quickly learned, like, that's not going to work.
Ice cream went down?
No, he held on to the ice cream. He made the right move. He kind of got out of the way of the ball. Wanted away here on Canna, and he'll swing. He'll hit this one on one hop to Odor. He'll go to first with it, and that will end the inning. So the A's leave a man on base, and Bartolo Colon has posted 2 scoreless so far tonight. He leads 3-0. Here, 3-0 Rangers as we go to the second. Bottom of the second, that is. Thanks to T-Mobile, fans can receive a 20% discount on tickets to the all-you-can-eat seats to the Home Run Porch on Fridays. Get your tickets to the all-you-can-eat seats for this Friday, where the Astros come to town. The Silver Boot Series. Use coupon code T-Mobile at TexasRangers.com/specials. All right, Robinson Chirinos to start things off here in the second, and Megden runs one in on him for ball 1. Chirinos right at that Mendoza line, 200 average, 1 for 4 last night with a homer. 8 home runs though. And always a threat. This one turns him away, and it's 2-0. Yesterday celebrated his 34th birthday. And we told you last night he was the first Ranger to homer on his birthday since Nelly Cruz did it in 2011. He takes high. It's 3-0. So last inning it was a leadoff walk to Chu from a guy in Mengden who does not walk very many. And now a 3-0 count on Chirinos.
You're talking about the home run that he hit. First Ranger with a birthday home run, aged 34 or older, since Jim Sundberg in 1989. If I remember right, Sonny had more than one birthday home run. He had several of them.
With the strike, it's a full count.
So far, Mengden's complimentary pitches haven't been working for him very well. Have a hard time getting anything over but his fastball, and the Rangers last inning jumped all over him. Double home run, home run.
It's 3-2, and that is outside, ball 4. So back-to-back innings, and you can see the frustration. He's walked the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, he walked a couple of guys. I think at his last start, the only time he's walked more than one guy all season long. And now in this game, 1 inning into the game, he's walked 2. Pretty good sign that he's struggling right now to find his rhythm, find his command. Off-speed pitches aren't really doing what they normally do. Not throwing them for strikes. They're not breaking sharply. And really, he doesn't have much command of his fastball yet either.
Runs that one in there for a strike on Ronald Guzman. See the numbers for Guzman. He's not had much success in these games against Oakland yet, just 2 for 11. Today batting 8th, and he takes inside, 1-1 the count.
And for a guy like Mengden, who has that kind of control, to have thrown 28 pitches, 16 strikes, 12 balls, that's it, not his normally strike to ball ratio anywhere close to it.
Guzman swings and hits this one well out to center field, but it's not going to carry for him. Fowler got back there and had room. One away.
They hit it solidly, but didn't get all of it. Fairly well hit ball, but wrong part of the field, too. Just got underneath it a little bit, it looked. I think as the game goes on, he'd like to have a shot at that same pitch a couple more times.
Well, now to Shields. And he takes wide for a ball. Delino at 205 now for the year. So the struggles have been mighty for him. Now he broke a long hitless streak last night with a bunt single. Put an end to an 0 for 22. But just 14 hits in his last 27 games. And he takes one on the corner. It's 1-1. Made a tremendous defensive play last night. Running headlong right into the center field wall to make the catch. So he continues to contribute on the defensive side. One out in the dirt. It's 2-1. Last night's second inning. Stephen Piscotty, pretty good poke.
That's just a beautiful play. We talked about it a lot last night. You'll see a lot of plays where a guy comes in and dives and makes a great play, goes back to the wall, waits, jumps as high as he can, and takes the ball back. Those are nice plays, but that's a great play. When you're going full speed, you know you're going to hit the wall, and you catch the ball right as you smash into the wall. Those are the ones that separate really nice plays from great plays. That was a terrific play. You don't see that play made very often because many times the outfielder shies away from the wall, and can't blame a guy. You don't want to run into the wall that fast. But I was pretty amazed that Delino ran into that wall full speed, bounced off it, and acted like it didn't cause any discomfort at all. Generally, a guy will make that play. You see Byron Buxton make that play, it seems like once every other day. That so many times he makes that play, and it takes him a few seconds to get his thoughts together after smashing into the wall.
A couple of years ago, Bryce Harper went in a little too hard, and he lost some time.
But Delino somehow came away with that unscathed.
Yeah, he made it look routine, like it's just sort of what you do all the time.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Well, he's worked the count full here. Chirinos at first, one away. And Megden just does not have his typical command. This is his third 3-ball count of the night. Right-hander at the set. There goes a runner. Bouncer third base, and Chapman will have just the one play. And that's to throw out to Shields for out number 2. So putting Chirinos in motion paid off. He's in scoring position now as Chu heads to the plate.
Turned out to be a nice pitch by Megden. He ran that two-seam fastball, got it inside. Delino hit it a little bit off the handle. Chapman looked to second just in case he had a shot, but decided to go to first. With Robinson running on the play, probably didn't have a very good chance to get him.
Chu takes a strike. Walked in the first inning, so that extends his streak to 22 games now. And he has reached base safely. Longest streak of the year for the Rangers, any Ranger. His hitting streak also the longest of the year so far, and he spoils that one. The count 0-2.
A patented home run by Shin-Soo Choo. Left-hander going the opposite way. Not many guys can do it with authority much better than Chu does. A lot of power the other way. And he's in one of those streaks right now. Occasionally he gets into one of these, and he's had streaks. They don't just last for a week or 10 days. They can go on for a month or a month and a half, where He's an on-base machine, but he's also driving the ball in the gaps and hitting it out of the ballpark. Might be the kind of streak he's in right now.
Well, there you see the 341 average on this 12-game streak.
A 418 on-base percentage in May. Picked up in June, right where he left off in May, as far as that goes.
Stays 1-2. So we had a situation last year where we had an extra umpire in the seats behind home plate. 2 guys actually last year, kind of night, a little bit like tonight. We saw them early, and we wondered, well, would they last the whole game? We've got another one tonight. The guys last year, they lasted the whole night back there calling balls and strikes in their umpire uniform. And we got a gentleman tonight right behind the plate.
Is he umpiring? Is he just show up with a mask on?
He's got the mask. That's a good like umpire shirt right there. But
I haven't seen him call a pitch yet.
his mechanics could use a little work. 2-2 pitch.
Have you ever seen the little boy that's about 9 years old that wants to be an umpire? He was on the nightly news a couple of months ago. Comes in full gear, knows all the umpires by their first name, calls, his parents come with him, calls every single pitch, has the calls down just right, and he's dead serious. He doesn't miss a pitch. Not sure exactly what this guy's doing. I'm waiting for him to call a pitch, but it looks like he just likes to wear a mask.
2-2.
Yeah, he's just out there chatting like a fan with a mask on.
Oh, he missed his moment. There it is, a little late, but he got it. Chu strikes out, and the inning is done. Rangers leave a man. Play 2 complete. It's 3-0. Nothing start to this one. Rangers on top. And Chad Pender will lead things off for Oakland. Pender, the 9th place hitter, has a start in right field tonight. And Bartolo a little tall with his first offering. Very versatile player. We mentioned it last night. I think he's played 6 positions this year, played 5 positions last season. A guy who came through the system as a utility infielder. And last year, for the first time, added outfield to his skill set, and that really paid off for him because he's playing a lot of outfield now. And he shoots it foul, the count 1-2.
They've been fouling a lot of balls off. Pretty high pitch count, especially for Bartolo. And a lot of the pitches have been fouled off.
Yeah, they fouled off 11 of Bartolo's pitches so far.
If they ever decide to change that rule to 2 or 3 foul balls after 2 strikes and you're out, a couple of these guys might have been strikeout victims.
Yeah. I do love that suggestion, and I haven't run it by Jason Stark yet. I still need to do that. Because
I ran it by Joe Torre the other day.
What did he say?
Well, he took it down. He said, I like it. It's a baseball thought, and we'll put it into the discussion and talk about it.
Bouncer third base, right to Kiner Falefa. And his throw to first and plenty of time to get Pinder one away.
Talking about ways to try to speed up the game, and that was one of our thoughts, that there's so many at bats that, at least it seems like there's more this year, where they go 12 or 13 pitches last 4, 5, 6 minutes because the guy just keeps fouling off pitch after pitch after pitch. And makes sense, I think, if you had a rule that said once you get 2 strikes, you get a certain number of foul balls. We suggested 2, but maybe the number's 3. I don't know what the number is. After which, if you foul off another one, you're out. And it seems like that might be a way to speed up a lot of games.
Base hit by Fowler. So Oakland has a base runner here with 1 away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's say hi to Dana Larson. All right, yeah, thanks, Dana.
The Red Sox playing pretty well right now. They don't have Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is on the disabled list.
And some teams that have seemingly gotten better when they've
Seattle
lost some of their good
Yeah.
players. Yes, Seattle, definitely. Seattle right now scoreless with Houston. They've just moved that game to the 3rd. And Seattle, with a win last night over the Astros in Houston, extended their lead in the division to 2 games over Houston. They've gone 11-3 in their last 14. A pretty good move there on Fowler.
Pretty good throw too. Bartolo's a big guy, but he's athletic. It's a quick move to first base, and he can field his position. We've seen that so many times this year.
Well, this one gets away. Guzman will track it down. Fowler heads to second, and he'll get there before the next throw. And so that'll be an error on Bartolo Colon.
Yeah, it bounced about a foot in front of Ronald's glove. Trying to make that perfect throw. He tried to drop the ball right on the bag, and obviously it makes the tag a lot quicker. Trying to pick a guy off. That one was just a little bit low.
So that removes the possibility of a double play. At least a ground ball double play. And the 1-strike pitch to Semien. That one in tight, 1-1. Semien lined out in the first inning. An odd at bat where there were maybe a couple pitches that were close, or some chirping going on, and it seemed to irritate him. He wasn't really saying anything, but he was getting irritated by other people complaining about the pitches, or so it seemed. Anyway, didn't amount to a whole lot. Semien, a solid hitter.
I think what happens to a hitter sometimes, let's say you're up at the plate and you take a pitch. It's called a ball. You feel like, I just took a pitch, made a good decision. It's a ball. Then the catcher starts saying that ball's a strike. That pitch is a good pitch. The other dugout saying it's a good pitch. And your reaction sometimes is, that's not a good pitch. That was a ball. And so you get into an argument with your opponent because he's arguing that it was a strike when you know that it was a ball. I'm not saying that's what happened on that one, but I can't think of what else could have happened. They want to say that pitch is not even close. Support the umpire for his great decision.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know that the opposition is taking on the umpire in that case, but as a hitter, I'm with you. You feel like, hey,
you're a bit offended.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know a ball from a strike.
Ground ball, third base. Kiner Falefa looks a runner back. Nice throw to first. Takes care of Semien. 2 away.
Second baseman Jed Lowry.
Continue to love the way he plays the game. A 4th-round draft pick. Kiner Falefa. Like Pender, who we saw earlier in this inning for Oakland, a guy who's become kind of a utility player as he made his way up the system, including catching.
Well, he's shown solid ability defensively. He's got good hands and a strong, true, accurate arm. Regardless of which position he's playing, but I guess you see it a little bit more at third base with a longer throw. And that's where he's had the biggest chance to play, is third base.
Jed Lowry had the double the other way in the first inning. That's one of 2 hits Oakland has managed so far against Bartolo Colon. And that one, similar spot down that left field line, but just a little bit foul. It's 1-1. Final year of Lowry's contract with Oakland. And even last year there was some talk that Lowry was a potential to be moved as they have been grooming a young fellow by the name of Franklin Barreto. But last year Lowry had a huge year, set a club record with 49 doubles, hit 14 home runs. Got off to a great start this year. That one sent way foul, 1-2 to count. So I think the feeling is, well, hang on, Barreto can continue to get better at AAA, and we're going to let Lowry continue to excel here. And maybe at the trade deadline, depending on what direction Oakland wants to go, they can turn Lowry into a couple young players to add to their system. Or who knows? I mean, they're playing better than 500 baseball. They might say, no, let's play this thing out, see what we have. Cologne's 1-2. And that's a little bit tight.
Well, they got their pitcher today, Daniel Mengden, in that kind of a trade. They traded Scott Kazmir to the Astros, and one of the guys they got back was Daniel Mengden. That turned out to be a pretty good trade. They weren't going anywhere at the time. Kazmir was an often injured guy, and for that they've got a nice member of the rotation right now. Mengden's having a nice season so far.
The 2-2. And that is outside. It's a full count. Cologne, 45 years old, and continuing to battle. He has been very good this year for the Rangers. We've talked about some of the landmarks he's approaching. One strikeout away from 2,500 in his career. And he's also one win away from the all-time record for Dominican-born pitchers. Hoping to maybe cross both those off his list tonight. Leading 3-0 here in the third. Payoff to Lowry. And that is tight. So a walk puts a second runner on and extends the inning for Bartolo Colon, and he's thrown a lot of pitches here early.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons might be the fact that he's been prone to giving up the home run ball, and he's being a little bit more careful not to do the same thing. That pitch to Lowry was a pitch where he's trying to zip it on the inside corner after pitching him away in a lot of that at bat, just missed. And the A's, at least on the road, tend to hit a lot of home runs. They don't hit as many as at home, but on the road they've hit a lot of home runs.
Davis takes a healthy pass at this one, but it ends up just a routine fly ball center field. Shields puts it away, and the inning is done. And so 2 more left on base. We head to the last of the third inning. Kiner Falefa, Mazara, and Profar coming up for the Rangers. To the bottom of the third inning, Rangers hitting some long balls early again here tonight, as they did yesterday. And their come from behind win today, the early lead against Daniel Mengden, and his first pitch, a breaking ball to Kiner Falefa. First strike one. We have a special guest joining us here in the third inning as well. We'll bring him in for you in a moment. And a little comebacker. Mengden takes care of Kiner Falefa. 1 away. And so we say hello to Kip Fagg. Kip, you are done with 3 intense days of the draft, which is to say nothing of the last 12 months getting ready for this thing. How do you feel?
A little tired.
Yeah.
A little tired, but no, we had a great draft. We're very excited about the players we acquired, and you know, it's kind of like Christmas for us a little bit here with Texas Rangers. It's been a good few last couple of days for sure.
Yeah, I think, Kip, more so than other sports, you're picking 15th. You don't have the slightest idea who's going to be there when you pick. You've got some guys you hope are there. Tell us your thought process as it goes to the 5th pick, the 6th pick, the 7th pick. You have one? Was our guy the one guy you were hoping for, or was there a mix of guys?
Well, to be honest, in this draft, it was a little bit different because some of the stuff in front of us was a little unsure. I can tell you one thing, that we had Cole Winn, the guy we took first, rated real high on our board. And to be honest, I didn't think he had a chance to get to us, but worked out really well for us, and we're very excited to have Cole.
Sure. Great. What are his attributes? What obviously he's a strong right-handed pitcher. What else can you tell us about
Boy,
him?
he's got great feel for the ball. Throws strikes at both halves of the plate with his fastball. He's got a very good curveball, actually a slider and a changeup. He's a complete pitcher, definite starter for us, and very excited to get him in the Ranger uniform.
So, Kip, you know, you probably see the same thing we see, the mock drafts, people speculating on where people will go. He was a guy who some thought was maybe a top 5 pick. There were several outlets who thought maybe he was a top 5. Definitely top 10. He ends up falling into your hands at 15. What do you make when you see all the projections? Do you look at those sometimes and say, wow, these people are nuts? Or is it just too hard to comprehend what everybody is going to try and do?
Well, it's weird. Mike Daly, our assistant GM, always brings those mock drafts to me, and you know, they don't really know. It's all just a guess. I mean, I don't talk to anybody before the draft. I don't know where they're getting their information. They see guys and people might give them some stuff, but you know, they're kind of, at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean that much to us.
Yeah, and Cole Winn, he's an interesting story too, right? I mean, he just ended up in Southern California. His dad had to move for a job, and I guess his dad consulted him about that. What do you think? And he was all for it, because that's a great baseball school down there.
Yeah, we got Josh Morgan, a kid in our minor league, went to Orange Lutheran. Garrett Cole, pitcher with the Astros, went to that school also. So, you know, he was actually a guy before he left the state of Colorado, and he was kind of on the radar, so to speak, with the scouts. And when we went to Southern California, he kind of, with the family, kind of just decided that, you know, they were going to go into better competition. But you know, for the fact that he moved over there, said a lot to us about the kid. He wanted to get the best. He wanted to get the best competition and everything. So, we're real excited about Cole.
When you just look at your draft, whatever it is, 9 out of the first 12, 10 out of the first 12 were pitchers. Do you go into a draft saying we're going to accent pitchers, or is it each round is the best guy on your board?
Yeah, it's the best guy. You know, our scouts do a tremendous job, and we got, you know, guys that go out there and beat the pavement all year round, you know, going after these kids and getting to know them, evaluating their talent. And when it comes down to making the choice, it's pretty easy for me, because, you know, we have all the information and we just take the best guy available. It happened to be, there was a lot of pitchers available this year, and that was the depth of this draft. So, you know, we're excited with the group we got.
Same philosophy, high school pitcher, college pitcher, best available.
Yeah, best available, best available.
So it was a good year for high school pitchers then.
Yeah, it was a real good year for high school pitching, and I think that, you know, the little trend here lately in the amateur draft is, you know, the bats are the ones that are kind of the most coveted, so to speak, and so they end up getting pushed up a little bit, and some of the pitching kind of drops, and I think it kind of showed with Cole getting to us. So, you know, fortunate for the Rangers.
Well, why is that? Is that just projectability, profile? Well, he's on a stretch. This one is gone.
Whoa, Mike Daly called that.
Third home run in 2 games for Jurickson Profar. Rangers move it to 4-0.
It just seems like the more Jurickson gets to play over an extended period of time, the more comfortable he gets defensively, and certainly the more comfortable he's getting offensively. Not to mention, Dave, the fact that starting to read in the paper that Elvis is not that far away from coming back. He wants to put a down payment on his playing time right here before that happens.
He's serving notice, there's no doubt about that. So Mike Daly called that one?
Yeah, he calls all the time with Pro. Mike Daly, he's the he can call those out.
Now, this is not necessarily Ranger related, but it's Texas related. How about Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that pick?
I tell you what, I saw Kyler quite a bit this year at Oklahoma, and he's an explosive player. Obviously, you know, being the quarterback at Oklahoma and being a local kid here, and he was a baseball player in high school. We scouted him then and went there, and he took a big jump this year as a player. It doesn't surprise me where he went, to be honest. You know, I don't know how the whole thing's going to work with the football thing and the baseball, but, you know, we didn't quite have him rated that high, but, I mean, obviously the Oakland A's took him, and we'll see what happens.
How do you guys, at the end of the day, how do you evaluate any given draft? I mean, it's so hard. We know the odds are long for anybody to get to the big leagues. When you go back and you look at a draft, let's say a year, 2 years ago, whatever the case, how do you grade out how you did?
It's tough. I mean, you know, hopefully they come out here and we see them on the big league field, the Connor Falifas and the Joey Gallos and guys like that. But it's you know, it comes back to, you know, trusting your scouts and going through the process we go through and getting to know the players and evaluate and have conviction on the players. And the more conviction you have, the more work you do, the better drafts you're going to have.
So take us behind the curtain for a minute. Any contentious arguments the last couple of days? You guys get fired up? Oh, all right. We'll get back. You can think of those good fights, and
do that.
And we'll get to that when we get back in the fourth inning.
Mike Daly and myself fight a lot.
I love it. Profar fight with the Oakland A's to the tune of 2 home runs already tonight. He has the Rangers on top 4-0. As the Rangers on top 4-0, and Matt Olson will lead things off here for the Oakland A's. We're visiting with Kip Fagg, Senior Director, Amateur Scouting. Kip, this is like your 27th year in the organization now, is that right?
Getting old. Getting old, yes, sir.
No, you're just getting smart.
Kip joined the organization when I was still working.
That's right.
I don't count this as work, what I'm doing now, but back then it was.
Tom was a GM when I first started.
Yeah, and Tom,
who did Sandy hire you, or did one of the others?
Sandy was the scouting director at the time, but Lenny Strelitz, who's the West Coast cross-checker, hired me.
Okay.
Okay, so have you been involved in the draft all those years?
Yeah, I've been on the amateur side the whole time. I worked as a area guy in mostly California, starting out for about 10 years, and I was a West Coast cross-checker. Then I was a national guy. Then got to be a director. JD ended up hiring me to be director. So it was, yeah.
Okay, so give us a fight. There had to be a fight. If not this year, go back to a couple years.
No, I mean, not to get too specific, but I mean, people are convicted on certain players, and for me, the biggest part when you're doing a draft is you're playing one player off another. So it's like, hey, this guy or that guy, and there's certain guys that like that guy, certain guys like this guy, and so sit back and let them plead their case, so to speak, and ultimately somebody's got to make a decision. That's me, and so but there is some contentious moments at times.
When you look at, say, the first 2 rounds, how many scouts will you have that have seen each one of the contenders for your pick?
6 to 8.
6 to 8?
Yeah, 6
so
to 8.
when you're talking about a player, you're not just talking about one guy or 2 guys. You've had 6 to 8 guys see that same guy.
No,
that's some long discussions right there.
It's long discussions, and working forward here, we've had an analytics crew that does a heck of a job, and they add a layer to the piece, and we got some people that we do some makeup stuff with, and that adds to another layer to the piece. So there's a lot of things you got to go through to make a pick, but at the end of the day, it's not that hard. I'm not the brightest dude in the world, and these guys are good that work here, and it makes it easy to do my job for sure.
This one out to right field, and Mazzara tracks it down.
About a week ago, Evan Grant had a great article. I know you read it, where it really went into some of the tragedies that have happened within your scouting department, how long you are away from home in a short period of time. Could you go over that article and some of the things that were in it and what it means to be a scout and how hard those jobs are?
Yeah, it gets kind of emotional here, but it's been a rough year for the Texas Rangers in our scouting. We lost an area scout, Roger Coryell, and if you read the story, actually I was going there that day.
Yep.
And, I probably go to Rogers area once or twice a year, so it was just kind of weird how it lined up. But then Casey Harvey, our West Coast cross-checker, lost his wife to melanoma. We got good people, and it's tough when they have to deal with tragedies in the job we do. It's not easy. We got a lot of people behind the scenes that do a lot of stuff. My wife, our wives, period. I mean, it's a grueling job. I mean, I'm probably on the road 200 plus nights a year, and we grind it out. But we do it for the love of the game, and the love of the chase, so to speak. But when tragedies happen, it's rough on friends, and we develop relationships with the scouts, and it's been a real rough year. But Evan did a heck of a job with that story.
That was beautiful.
Yep. And I saw Austin Becker. You guys drafted Austin toward the end of the draft.
Yeah.
Hard smash off Kiner-Falefa. Profar tries to recover that one in and out of the dugout. And Lucroy will be awarded second base. It'll probably be an infield hit and an error.
Hard hit ball. It goes off Kiner-Falefa right straight to Jurickson, who feels like he's got an outside shot to make that play. Would have been a close play with an accurate throw. Kip, how about an update on a couple of the guys from last year, our top picks last year, and where they are right now? Hans Kraus, I know, was one of them, and
Yeah,
was it Chris Seiss another one?
Yeah, Chris has gone through a little bit of a health thing. He's got a shoulder that he had a procedure on. We don't think it's anything serious, but he's going to be down for a little bit. Hans Kraus is in Arizona right now, and he's going to be up in Spokane in the starting rotation and actually probably be on the mound for the opening night there, the 15th in Spokane.
How hard is it to judge the health of high school players and how much you can pitch them after you sign them? That's got to be a...
Yeah, you know what, it comes with an organizational decision as far as some of that stuff. When how many innings they throw in high school, and a lot of it comes to like they throw showcase in the summer,
sure.
and they throw in the fall and scout team. So I mean, all that comes into play when you decide kind of how many innings you want to throw a kid initially when he gets into your system. But it's always a tough decision when you get these guys. So
Can you tell us about Shea Patterson?
Yeah, Shea's he's the football quarterback at University of Michigan.
Yeah, guy from Ole Miss, now Michigan.
Yeah. One of our national guys, Clarence Johns, ended up working him out up there. He played baseball in high school. Interesting player as far as the baseball. We'll see where this one goes.
That's an interesting one. I love it. That's part of the draft, though, right? I mean, there is so much chance you're taking on any of these guys, but sometimes you find a great athlete, interesting situation, and you see what you got.
You look at the Kyler Murray situation.
Yeah.
It just goes right there.
I know it's great for scouting, but are you a proponent of the showcases as far as what's best for the kid, especially a pitcher?
Personally, no. But, I mean, I think we're beyond that point of where it's at. And, we kind of deal with it as we deal with it, but the kids are, that's kind of the way things run now, and it's a little different than when I started scouting.
Sure.
And the showcase, travel ball, that kind of thing. I think it's here to stay, and the way baseball is. But we just deal with it as we do.
I've heard some doctors speculate that the fact that these showcases encourage the kid to throw every pitch as hard as he can is one thing that might lead to the early injuries.
I can't sit here and say I know the answer to that, but I mean, I think it's been shown in studies that the more you throw at a younger age, the probably more susceptible you are to have some arm injury. But we've done a lot of studies out with ourselves, but it's kind of hard when some of these kids are at warm weathers and they play a lot.
Sure.
And you see the lack of kids playing multiple sports also, so it's a little different than it was back when I started when I was working for you.
Absolutely.
A close play to ostensibly end the inning, and they're going to go ahead and take a look at this one. So this one will be under review. Good throw by Profar. And I think the internal clock said, yeah, he got him.
He's out.
I don't think they can reverse that one.
I wish you were in New York and you could just. Boy, that's a close one. Man alive. So how many days till you're back out watching some amateur players?
Well, I'm going out here tomorrow, actually. And so it never ends. We're starting for 2019, and we got some decisions to make on some signings here. So I've got to do a lot of phone work, and that kind of thing. But yeah, it starts right away.
That's amazing.
Have you had any signings to announce yet, or still working?
No, we're still working on some. We're getting close, though. I think. I was wrong. They called him sick.
All right, so the inning will continue.
I've got to erase my scorecard.
Yep. So that will go down as an infield hit. And they have him on the corners now with 2 away for Chad Pender. All right, so you take a flyer on Shea Patterson. We've talked a little bit about Cole Winn. Anybody else in those early rounds? I mean, it looked like, as we've already talked about, a lot of young right-handed pitching, a lot of shortstops.
Yeah. I mean, it just felt that way. The kids we liked, the kids that we did the work on, we had the conviction on, they happen to be right-hand pitchers and shortstops. We're very excited about, the whole group as a whole, but some of the upper guys that we had a lot of conviction on and we like a lot, and happen to be some high school kids, but it's a good group as a whole.
How does a kid like Owen White, your second-round pick, compare to your first-round pick?
I'd say that the first 3 pitchers, Wynn, Ornelas, and Englert, or excuse me, not Ornelas, Wynn, White, and excuse me, Englert. It was tough to separate. I mean,
really?
Obviously we took Wynn 1, and he was probably the more high-profile of the group. But I mean, as you look back, sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. These kids are all talented kids, and we're excited about all 3 of them. We think they're starters, moving forward and developing pitching here with the Texas Rangers, and I think these guys are going to be a big part of it.
Well, that being the case, then you guys must have been happy when each one of those guys was available where you took them.
Oh, it was a pretty happy draft room. I'll tell you the truth. Very happy.
Well,
Mike Daly was jumping up and down, that's for sure.
That's great. That's great.
Well, anytime I see a name like Jax Biggers,
Yeah.
I think that's a great baseball name. Put a uniform on that kid. Let's see what he's got.
Jack's a good player. University of Arkansas shortstop. Very good player.
All right, Kip, I know you got a lot to do. Senior Director, Amateur Development, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Good
Great
seeing
job.
you guys.
Keep up the good work.
All right.
4-0 Rangers.
4-0 Rangers on top of the Aces. We welcome you back to Globe Life Park in Arlington, and it is time for the Progressive Fan of the Game. And this is Dana Husted. She's our Progressive Fan of the Game. I should say kindergarten graduate. And Dana, you graduated from kindergarten. Where's the first place you wanted to come?
To Texas.
To Texas to watch the
Baseball castle.
to see the baseball castle, which is also known as Globe Life Park. And who's your favorite player?
Rugi.
And who signed your baseball before the game?
Rugi.
Pretty good day, huh, Dana? Absolutely. And she drew a beautiful sign. It's got jewels on it, and then of course a picture of her and Rugna together, which is beautiful. Dana, congratulations, sweet girl, and congratulations on graduating from kindergarten, baby.
Yes, indeed, and welcome to the baseball castle.
The baseball
I
castle.
love it.
It's just so beautiful how a little girl, and it happens all the time, can come up with a player that she just loves. In her case, it's Rugi. Or a little boy for that matter. It makes no difference. But they see a player, and there's something about that player that just catches their imagination. I'm so glad we had a chance to have Kip Fagg on for that long to talk scouting.
What an interesting job.
It's such a hard job. I can remember when I first got into front office work, I was an assistant in the scouting and player development department, and Joe Klein was the director, and he had me go watch a game, and it happened to be a tournament, and it was at Arizona State. Odeby McDowell was one of the players, and he stood out like a sore thumb. And as the games went on, you know, several games that first day, it was hot, it was sunny, and about midway through the second game, I started to yawn, started to get a little tired, and I started to think to myself, you know, I've been in baseball my whole life, and I'm watching these players. I can't tell one from the other. They're all good players. They all look like they run pretty well. They all hit pretty well. And for these guys to sit out there sometimes from 11 in the morning till midnight watching game after game, and to be able to differentiate the subtleties between all these players and come up with a draft list, and as Kip said, spend so much time away from home doing the travel almost anonymously. It's just an amazing job that they do, and I have so much admiration for them. And fortunately nowadays there's a little bit more publicity for the scouts, and virtually every general manager is very quick to say that the backbone of any franchise, good franchise, is the scouting department. And beautiful play again by Olson at first base. Saw him turn a double play earlier that was nice, and showed some agility right there. I'm not sure whether he got him or not. Did he miss him?
Well, Rugi thinks they did. He was called out, but Rugi's not going anywhere. He says, no. You guys take a look at this. And we always say never slide into first, except in these spots. That was a beautiful play by Rugi as well. But I think he came off the base.
You don't slide to beat the throw, but you do slide to avoid a tag. And it was a great attempt by Rugi, but it looked like Olson got the tag on his leg, and as Rugi slides by, he is off the base. So nice, great attempt by Rugi, and a nice defensive play by Olson. But just to finish up on the scouts, if you're a good organization and you've developed players and you're good at the big league level, the reason is because of the backbone of the organization, and that's the scouts. And at this time of year, fortunately, they get some recognition for the job that they do, but it's a difficult job, and not everybody's cut out for it. I know I couldn't do it. Whether or not I'd be willing to put the time in and the work that it takes, that's one thing, but just to have the judgment and the discipline to watch the players and differentiate between how close they are at the college and high school level to pick the good ones, it's an art. It really is. And the guys that are good at it are a huge asset to an organization.
Here's the other thing that jumps out to me. I was watching a little bit of the first couple rounds of the draft on the MLB Network, and so they're showing a kid. He was, like a top 10 pick, And they're breaking him down on TV. They got all the video and everything now, of course, that they would have never had back in the day. And I'm listening to him talk about this guy's delivery and his velocity and all these things. And all the commentaries about, like, you know, you can correct that, you can get this right, you can clean up the delivery and do all this stuff. And boy, you can really see where he'd be great. And I'm thinking, this guy's like a top 10 pick. And all we're talking about are all the things we can fix to make him better. And that's again part of it for me that's just mind-blowing when you talk about how difficult it is to find the right guys, make those selections, because you still have so much work to do to get them to be major league ready.
Yeah, it's not an exact science. There's a lot of times where you'll have a veteran scout that'll see a player and he's got a memory bank of similar type players that maybe goes back 15 or 20 years. And yeah, this shortstop, his actions remind me of a kid that I saw 15 years ago who looked the same, had the same first step quickness, and got through the organization quickly and became an excellent big league player. And I really feel like this is the same kind of guy. So there's much more science to it now, as Kip alluded to, with the analytics being a part of it. As many people see all these same players, but at the same time, there's still some gut feel involved in it too. Like I watched that same show you watched, and when you start watching picks, say 5 through 15, and you start listening to them talk about the high school pitchers and watching them, and they're throwing 95 miles an hour, and they've got a good breaking ball, and their ERA was .091, and they had 140 strikeouts in 70 innings, and they've got a nice curveball.
Oh boy. Guzman sends this one a mile in the air and into the second deck. A 2-run shot for the rookie Ronald Guzman. And the Rangers have cracked this one wide open.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You can go back and think of a lot of Ranger teams that had some great home run hitters. It's hard to go back and think of a game yesterday with 5 home runs, and now 4 innings into this game, 4 more, where a Ranger team has launched home runs more impressively than has been the case the last 2 days. I mean, these things are a thing of beauty. That's the second long high home run launched into the upper deck in this game. Profar's got back-to-back days with 420-foot home runs. It's been a pretty impressive display of power. I know it's probably caught the A's by surprise. They came into this series with a pitching staff that had been on a great roll, a bullpen that had been pitching well, a couple of guys in the bullpen that hadn't given up much of anything over the last month. The bullpen got touched up yesterday late in the game, and today it's been a starting pitcher who in his last 6 starts had an ERA of 1.5, getting blasted 3 1/3 innings into this game.
Mengden has walked 3. That's a season high. It's as many as he walked in the month of April. And 4 home runs, a season high. It has not been his best night, but if we were to act as scouts and grade out, let's say, his mustache.
That's an 80 on a 20
it's an 80
scale.
With plus curl.
Yep.
Roller to third. Chapman on a nice dive. The throw in time, and he gets to Shields, and you just shouldn't be able to do that. What a great play by Chapman, and they're 2 away.
Well, he came into this game with not a lot of big league experience, but a huge reputation as a Gold Glove caliber third baseman, and you can see why right here. Nice range, great hands, good agility to get up that quickly, and the arm strength to be able to do all of that and still get a speedy runner like the Lino at first base. Good example of why we talked about him in such glowing terms.
Now Chu, who is 0 for 1. Mengden's mustache, and it is obviously one of the first things anybody would notice about him. He only styles it like that on days he starts. And he gives it the Raleigh fingers curl. There you go. There's a shot of Raleigh on the right.
You know, we said it's an 80. It's not an 80.
Yeah, but that picture is not an 80. But I think today he's got Raleigh's full.
He doesn't have the same curl. Raleigh's got more more depth to that mustache and a longer curl.
I agree in the picture, but if you look at him today, if we can get a live shot of him today, because you're right, in that picture, he's got a long way to go.
That's not his best mustache right there?
That is not. No, that's a BP
See, I can
mustache.
only go on what I see right there.
Yeah, that's his BP mustache. What he's rocking today, and maybe we'll get a look at it again. And there's a swing and a miss. See that right there, Tom? That's more the Raleigh.
That's a 75.
I'll go with that. Ronald Guzman showing 80 power in this inning, and a 2-run blast has opened it up for the Rangers. They lead it 6-0. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer. Well, this is something else. 6-0 Rangers lead as we go to the 5th inning. And Bartolo Colon a little bit wide with ball 1 to Dustin Fowler. Big home run by that man right there. Guzman with 7 homers now on the year. 1-1 the count to Fowler, who was singled and rolled out. The offense has stolen the show, but Bartolo Colon, despite a lot of pitches, has put up nothing but zeros. Weak bouncer third base, and they take care of Fowler, 1 away.
Shortstop Marcus Semien.
Bring up Marcus Semien.
Done an excellent job today keeping the ball away from the middle of the plate. He's walked a couple of guys, and that may be one of the reasons why, concentrating on doing that, but it's working in his favor so far right now. And a number of balls hit weakly off the handle. And he's kept the ball like he did with that slider right on the outside corner for the most part. Been all around the edges today.
Was taking care of Semien both times up, and this one line foul. 0-2. Still needs that one more strikeout tonight to get him to an even 2,500 in his career.
He's got a good start on that win that he needs.
He does.
Not to be premature with that type of prediction, but if he does get one win, he ties Juan Marichal for the most wins by a Dominican-born pitcher. The Rangers have spotted him 6 early runs. So the Rangers have scored 13 runs in 12 innings and hit 9 home runs. Every run has come by way of the home run. We can almost do the same thing today in the open to the show tomorrow that we did yesterday, that we did today from yesterday's game.
That's been something. The bat's rolling here at home. Now a line shot, but a short hop to Odor. He'll have to throw out Semien. 2 away. Well, the Colorado Rockies will be in town to take on the Rangers on Saturday, June 16th. It's a 3:05 game. First 15,000 fans to the ballpark going to get an Adrian Beltre Best Friends bobblehead, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Albertsons. It's the first in a series of 2 Best Friends bobbleheads. And you get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. And that's the other one. Date to be named later. First pitch swinging, and Lowry sends this one right down to the foul pole and just wide of it for a long strike.
Well, in about a week or 10 days, whenever it is, when Elvis comes back, we take another look at Lowry's ball. He never moved out of the batter's box, so it might have been fairly close, but he knew it was going to be foul. Certainly had the distance. There's going to be some juggling for Jeff Bannister because Kiner Falefa obviously has played well. Profar has played well and is playing great right now. 3 home runs in the last 2 days. So there's going to be not decisions necessarily to be made, but a lot of guys that deserve playing time. And it'll be up to Jeff Bannister to kind of juggle his lineup to do his best. Elvis is going to play every day at shortstop. Maybe not initially. He might get some time off. A lot of guys to get playing time for. that deserve it based on the way they're playing right now.
Good problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think Emily has a little more on that, right, Em?
Yeah, Jeff Bannister talked about the fact that he's going to continue to juggle things until Elvis gets back, and the main priority is just to get everybody, you know, kind of time off their legs while it's hot, and especially to Adrian Beltre to keep him in a position where he can remain healthy, not test that hamstring too much. So things a little bit in limbo, and they'll probably stay that way at least until Elvis gets back.
And then it starts getting crowded. 0-2 pitch. Just off the plate.
How about that one? 92 miles an hour. Just goes to show you that the big guy's got a little bit more in the tank than you might think.
I wonder if he's feeling it a little bit, right? Knowing what's on the line
Maybe.
here.
But, you know, the other thing is I think Lowry's seen 5 balls at 90 miles an hour or more today. He might be the only hitter that that's the case with.
Shoots this one out to right field. It gets down, and Mazzara will have to take it off the fence. Lowry will have his second double of the night.
Lowry has sliced a double, well hit, however, down the left field line in the first inning, and this one he pulls to right field, so he's used the whole field. He's also mixed in a walk. Nice night for him so far.
So out there again at second base for Chris Davis, who's 0 for 2. Davis takes ball 1. Dangerous hitter, a guy who has done just a phenomenal damage against the Rangers over the years, and he hits this ball well out to center field. The Shields going back at the wall, and that one is gone. So Davis with a 2-run homer for Oakland. They're on the board, and it's a 6-2 game.
Davis had a pitch his last time up that he hit sky high to center field, just got underneath it. And that time he got underneath it, but still got underneath it well enough to hit it 420 feet. That one caught the middle of the plate. That's one thing we were mentioning, that Bartolo has done a nice job today for the most part, staying on the edges of the strike zone. That one, however, caught the middle of the strike zone, and one of the best power hitters in baseball launched it. In fact, since the start of 2016, he has 100 home runs. That's the most in Major League Baseball. Giancarlo Stanton has 99, unless he's hit another one today. No, he hasn't hit one today. The Yankees in Toronto are 0-0 in the 10th inning. So since the start of 2016, no one in baseball has hit more home runs than Chris Davis.
And of those 100,
what's
like
the percentage?
About 40% of those against us. I mean, it's like, it's crazy what he has done against the Rangers. 2-0 pitch, and Olsen takes wide, 3-0. Southwest Airline bullpen live look. Matt Bush getting ready out there.
Yeah, Bart is at 95 pitches right now.
And I'm sure that Jeff Bannister will do everything he can possibly do to get him through the 5 innings. Has 2 outs here, just needs 1 more. And Olsen lifts this high in the air out to right field. Mazzara going back. Might have room.
Whoa.
He does. And the inning is over. Cologne gets through 5. Yeah, it's quite a look. It's got a 4-run lead. Halfway to the house tonight. Get back to 100%. (6-2) Rangers lead. Bartolo Colon through 5 innings. So feeling pretty good. We'll see if they ask him to go any further tonight, or if he can't go any further tonight. Well, looks of things, he may be done. Heading in to find the AC. Yeah, he's thanking everybody. So good job, and now it's up to the Rangers to hold on to this one for him. See if they can add to the lead here. Kiner Falefa to start things off against Danny Coulombe. Ripped foul, 0-2.
Daniel Coulombe, this will be his 22nd ball game. ERA's a little bit high. A lot of strikeouts though, 24 strikeouts in 19 innings. Only lefty, as I see it anyway, in the A's bullpen. Short night for Daniel Mengden. And this is a guy that in his last 3 games had pitched 7 innings, 9 innings, a 2-hit shutout, and then 8 innings. And in his last start, he gave up 3 runs in the 9th inning, but had 8 shutout innings. And that was a string of 25 shutout innings. So he came into this game on a high, didn't have his best stuff tonight. Rangers took advantage of that, but he's on a nice roll, having a great start to the season for the A's. Came into the game with an ERA under 3. Didn't go his way tonight. Been a nice start to the season for him, though.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Kiner Falefa. Of course, Mengden, a guy from Texas, grew up in Houston, played at Texas A&M, drafted by the Astros, then traded to Oakland, but his return to his home state did not go well tonight. Coulombe's 2-2. This one off of Coulombe, caroms to third. Chapman with a spin and throw, but not in time. That was going to be some kind of acrobatic play by Chapman if he was able to finish that one off, but instead it's an infield hit for Kiner Falefa.
Yeah, you know, Kiner Falefa runs pretty well. If it was a lesser runner, we're talking about a beautiful play. Doesn't take away from the athleticism it takes to do what Chapman just did. Goes the 360, comes up firing, and another nice play at first base by Matt Olson. He's made 3 nice plays tonight. That one saved Chapman an error.
So now a base runner for Nomar Mazara, who doubled earlier. 1 for 2. Coulombe with a long set. That was a pretty high leg kick with a runner on base. Let's see what Kiner Falefa thinks of that. Teams have run on Oakland with a decent amount of success this year. Of course, a lefty generally more adept at holding runners, keeping them close. 1-1. That time the nice slide step. Four home runs tonight for the Rangers after a season high 5 home runs yesterday. We're only in the bottom of the 5th. 1-2 the count. So I want to wrap up a little bit on Kip Fagg from earlier tonight.
Sure.
It's been about an inning now, but Kip was great. Some insight into this year's draft for the Rangers and some of the selections they made. You referenced that great piece by Evan Grant in the Dallas Morning News the other day, and it was just really, you know, one of those.
It was an emotional article. It had to be for him writing it too.
I talked to him the other day about how much work he put into writing that story. It's really amazing, but a great story about some of the lifestyle of amateur scouts, but also just the difficulties that the department has endured this year. And a key part of that story was this kid Austin Becker, who the Rangers ended up drafting in the 37th round this year. And he's not likely to sign, but they did it really as an homage to their scout Corey Eldman, who passed away earlier this year. And Evan Grant wrote another great piece on this part of the draft as well. So I guess I just throw it out there for folks if you're looking to learn a little bit more about all the backstories on some of this stuff. It's really fascinating reading, and Evan's been doing an excellent job in the morning news with that. So just check it out online or go get a newspaper, and I think you'll find it well worth your while to read it. And I mean, all the guys have just done a terrific job covering the stuff. It's hard for us. It's hard for anybody to cover it. But with the space we have provided here on the broadcast to bring you a whole lot of information on these guys, it's just not realistic. But boy, Levi Weaver with The Athletic and Evan and T.R. Sullivan at Rangers.com, boy, they're just doing fantastic work. Zara takes in. It's a full count. So does it bring back good or bad memories for you, Tom, the draft?
Good memories. It's by far the most exciting time of the year, I think. Not more exciting going to the World Series, obviously, but the whole organization comes together from the top to the bottom for 3 days to hopefully make some decisions that encourage success in the future for the franchise. Well, it's a very exciting time. I used to love it.
Simeon at short, able to take it to the bag and turn the double play. 6 unassisted to 3. Base is cleared for Jurickson Profar. Southwest player breakdown.
Well, he's gotten some pitches to hit in this game, and he's taken home run swings. When you think of Jurickson Profar, you don't necessarily think of a home run hitter, but when you see the 3 swings he's taken in the last 2 days, the ball he hit 420 feet last night to center field, and the 2 balls he's hit today, you see a young player that has the potential. I'm not going to say to be a power hitter, but a guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. He got 18 doubles, did we say last night? 18 doubles in the top 10 in doubles. So that shows gap power. You know, we talked about Jed Lowry and the kind of hitter that he's been, a guy that's hit over 40 doubles and is not a home run hitter, but can hit a home run. And you know, watching Profar develop and getting the chance to play every day for 200 at bats like he's had, and watching the growth and the improvement, showing the power the last couple of days. You know, you get a little bit of a glimpse of the kind of player he could be given the chance to get 600 plate appearances in a season.
One and 2 the count on Profar. So we saw a moment ago Bartolo heading in to the clubhouse, and Matt Bush and loosening out there for a little while, so likely to come in and pitch the 6th inning, and who knows, maybe multiple innings. When he's been in lately, it's been for a couple of innings at a time, 2, 3 innings sometimes. Coulombe's 1-2 pitch, and that's way off the plate.
I can remember when Jurickson was a teenager, and you know, those of us not involved in the minor leagues have never seen him, but we read about him, and they used to say things like youngest player in the league, yet a leader on the team. The older players look up to him. Baseball instincts, talent to be a frontline shortstop in the big leagues. All those things that were said about him, and it hasn't happened. And we've gone through all the reasons why, whether it's been injuries, having to play different positions. But now that he's had a chance to play shortstop for 200 at bats, I think he's given an accurate look at the talent that he has, and hasn't been necessarily consistent, and he's not hitting 300, but there's been glimpses of him in every facet of his game that show, given the opportunity again to do it consistently and get the chance year after year, the kind of player he could easily become.
2-2. Foul back our way again. Profar will get another shot. 2 for 2 with 2 home runs. Gets him 6 home runs this year. Should also mention Jeff Wilson and
yeah, once you
Stephen
start mentioning them, you
Stevenson,
got to make sure you get everybody, because they're all good.
so the Star Telegram does a great job as well. And there's a bouncing ball. Third base, Chapman with that long throw.
There's the arm right there, flat-footed.
Don't get to see it that often. When you do, you take notice. Inning is done, and Matt Bush getting ready to come on for the Rangers, protecting a 4-run lead.
Third baseman
All right, yeah, thanks, Dana. So the Cubs, they're still trying to work their way back to the top of that Central Division in the National League. Meanwhile, here we go to the 6th inning. And Matt Bush has come on in relief.
Well, Matt will feature a fastball, a curveball, and a cutter. Hard curveball in the 80s, the cutter in the 90s, and of course his four-seam fastball at 96 to 98 miles an hour.
Oh, 0-2 the count on Chapman. Chapman has had the walk, also flied out to right field. Takes away 1-2. Bouncer at third base. Kiner full left with another good opportunity from the backhand in time to get Chapman one away. Hey, this Father's Day coming out to the ballpark. Colorado Rockies, Texas Rangers, the matchup, and the first 15,000 fans to the ballpark on June 17th. Get a Rangers reversible bucket hat, courtesy of Fox Sports Southwest and Southwest Airlines. And you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS.
It was kind of fitting that Isaiah would make that play on Chapman. Chapman has made a lot of nice plays over at third, and that one Isaiah made a nice play himself. Backhanded it, threw it all the way across the diamond.
You'd like to
so
think
our
that
third baseman's got a little bit going for him too.
Exactly. Lucroy checks his swing. Did he go? No. 1-1. You'd like to think that as Chapman was on his way back to the dugout, no doubt upset that he didn't get a base hit, at least thought to himself briefly, like, well, I can appreciate a good play by a third baseman.
I'm not sure that went through his mind.
You know, if it had to be anybody, at least it was a good third sacker.
Here's the play we're talking about. Tricky hop, nice backhanded play, and then over the top all the way across the diamond, strong angle. Nice play. Side view of it. Good hands. And the accuracy.
Really makes it, you know, just look routine.
That throw that Chapman made to end the last inning for the Rangers from a similar spot, flat-footed. Yeah, I haven't seen too many third basemen who can make that same throw with the same velocity as Chapman made that one. I like to see Chapman on the mound. I think he was a pitcher, wasn't he, in college? I believe he might have been a relief pitcher in college, and if he was, I'll bet you he threw 95 to 98 miles an hour. If he wasn't, he could have been.
Yeah, exactly. You see so many of these guys, of course, they're all the best athletes from their schools, from their little league and travel ball teams and whatnot. They no doubt all pitched and pitched well at various junctures, but I tell you, I don't know. Fly ball out to right field, and Lazara takes care of it. 2 away. I mean, here you look at Matt Bush. He was a great shortstop. The first pick of the draft, the first round pick, the 1-1 as we like to call it, as a shortstop of the Padres back in the day. Now he's a pitcher in the big leagues, lo these many years later. Kind of goes, you know, talking to Kip earlier today about how you decide, and, or who do you weigh your needs. You know, you just take the best there is, because you don't know what's going to happen. I guess. I don't know how else to explain it.
I think it can come down to, you'd rather have, let's say you rank a player by a number, 20 from 80, 20 to 80. You would rather have 2 shortstops that grade out at 60 as opposed to 1 shortstop who grades out at a 60 and a pitcher who grades out at a 45 or a 50. think you're looking for talent, and if you get too many at one position, there's always ways to work around that. You can never have too many pitchers, so it doesn't apply to a pitcher, but to a position player, a shortstop, there's other infield positions you can play. There are trades to be made in a pennant race, and the Rangers have been involved in those when they were fighting to go to the postseason and get to the World Series, where it's nice to have that currency of young players to be able to trade for a key component. So I think if you look at it that way, the most talent, regardless of position, makes a lot of sense.
High fly ball out to right field, and that one off the top of the fence. Mazara bare hands it. Gets it back in quickly to keep Canna to a base hit. That's a pretty nice little throw back to second.
I don't believe Canna would have made it if he tried to go to second. Yeah, that's about as calmly as you can play a ball off the wall and hold the guy to a single. Nomar just goes back, catches it with his bare hand, and I would say that's a pretty good throw as far as accuracy goes. Right in the bag.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Number 38, Nick Martini. Batting for Chad Bender.
So pinch hitter now with one out. And this will be the big league debut for Nick Martini. He's called up from Nashville, and Doug Brocail out there to have a quick word. And this is a gathering. I'm about 95% confident that this is about Nick Martini, right?
Yeah, I'd say it's possible.
Give up a hit. All right, not that big a deal. But what we did not anticipate this inning was seeing Nick Martini. And so here's a quick little rundown. A .299 hitter in 51 games for AAA Nashville. Former 7th round pick, 2011, and here he is after 829 games in the minor leagues at his first big league at bat.
Okay, so on the 20 to 80 scale, how would you rate his beard?
That to me, that's probably at least a 60.
It's above average.
Yeah.
It's a frontline major league beard. You know, this game has the feel that it's like 10-1 because of the way the Rangers have scored with the bombs they've hit. But it's only a 6-2 game, and it's midway through the game, and the A's have a good offense and a lot of power, so that's still what you would call a close ball game. Doesn't feel like it because of the home runs the Rangers have pounded, but the A's are still hanging right in there.
One ball, one strike on Martini. He'd been with the Cardinals organization, just joined the A's on a minor league deal this offseason. And bounces this one to first base. What a reaching grab by Guzman. He gives it to Bush, covering the base. And the inning is over.
How many first basemen can reach that high?
Man. 6'5", but he plays 6'8" with a reach. Rangers lead by 4. By Buick. Visit your local Buick dealer. And by LG OLED TV with AI Thin Q. All right, Joey Gallo will lead things off here. Our TXU Energy power player to watch. Gallo with 8 home runs in excess of 110 miles per hour off the bat. That is most in Major League Baseball. When he hits him, you know it. And he is up there to lead off this 6th inning. And he'll do it against a new pitcher, Liam Hendricks. So Coulomb pitched a scoreless 5th inning, and now Hendricks is on as their starter. Daniel Megden can go just 4 innings today. Gallo shows bunt, but takes a ball.
Last couple of days, Joey's thought about it, but hasn't got the pitch that he could bunt.
This time was thinking about swinging, but lays off a good fastball for a strike. 1-1 the count. So Martini stays in the game after batting, and he is a new right fielder. Only defensive change outside of Hendricks. Gallo, Odor, and Robinson Chirinos in this 6th inning. Now the left side of the infield wide open for Joey, as they had that big shift on. Very high. 2-2. And the one thing they do differently than some, you see Simeon, the shortstop, moving out there to the grass in right field. So Lowry stays in his normal spot. Chapman only has to adjust going to his left. This ball hit hard right to the shortstop, and Simeon grabs it just off the top of the grass. 1 away.
Now, Joey's hit a couple of home runs the last 2 days. He's also hit 3 other balls hard. There's one of them. Line shot right at Simeon. Yesterday he hit a similar ball to Simeon in the same spot, and also a line shot to right field. Walked in the game yesterday as well. So if you look at these 2 games, you've seen Joey Gallo right on everything. A lot of good at bats. 7 good at bats in the last 2 days. Only 2 hits, the home runs, to show for it, but a couple other balls hit hard too.
Odor took a big swing, but this off the end of the bat and caught out there by Fowler. Tough play. Looked for all the world that was going to drop in. Instead, Hendricks gets his 2nd quick out.
Yeah, Fowler has some quickness out there. Nice play. So many times you see a player dive for this ball. But that is a true shoestring catch right there. He reaches down and takes it right off the ground. His glove was actually touching the ground. Nice play.
So with 2 gone. Here's Robinson Chirinos, couple of walks tonight, and he has scored a run. Hits this ball hard over 3rd base, but foul. Rangers got 3 runs in the 1st, another in the 3rd inning, 2 runs here in the 4th. Total of 6 runs on 6 hits. They have made 2 errors and stranded only 1 runner tonight. A little bit high. The 4 Rangers home runs tonight, Tom, have traveled 1,638 feet.
All right, thank you for that. And what's the average launch angle and the average exit velocity?
1-2 the count to Chirinos. Of course, Profar got about 800 of those feet himself with his 2 home runs. Swing and a miss by Chirinos. Lucroy will throw him out, and that completes a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 6th for Liam Hendricks. Needed just 10 pitches to get it done, and we head to the 7th. To the 7th inning tonight. MLB At Bat is your #1 Rangers app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. You get Rangers home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, your pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and a whole lot more. Download MLB At Bat today. And then tell your friends. Text it to them. Dude, got to download this thing. Here's Jake Diekman.
Jake Diekman on for the Rangers. Mid-90s fastball and a hard 80-mile-an-hour slider. Pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher. And when he's on, that's the only 2 pitches he needs.
I think it's the top of the order. Left-handed hitting Dustin Fowler. 1 for 3 so far tonight, and he takes strike 1. Fowler acquired by the A's from the Yankees in the deal that sent Sonny Gray to New York. Fowler came up with New York and blew out his knee in his big league debut. As Tom pointed out a little earlier, a guy with a little speed out there in center field, covers some ground for you defensively. And the A's have made pretty decent use of him so far this year. A little fly ball to center, and he is quickly retired here in the 7th, which gives us time for a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
$250 down, $250 a month or less on select new Kias in stock, only at southwestkia.com.
All right, one out for Jake Diekman. Lefty out of Wymore, Nebraska, and he dumps one in there to Marcus Semien for a strike. See what the A's have done today up and down the lineup. Lowry and Mark Canha have done the better part of the damage, although what you can't see sometimes in that limited look at the box score, the home runs. Chris Davis with the 2-run homer in the 5th inning has given them all of their offense. Fouled away. It's 1-2 on Semien.
Simeon's hit a couple of balls hard. 2 line drives right at Rugi. One bounced, one was caught in the air. One of those 0 for 3s that a little bit better than what the box score would show anyway. Wouldn't feel any better the hitter necessarily. 0 for 3 is 0 for 3.
You say that, but I mean, there had to be nights, right, as a player where you'd go back to your hotel. Yeah, I was 0 for 3. But man, tomorrow I feel like I could go 4 for 3.
Yeah, you know, your mind works in strange ways. You can also go back and say, you know, how many times am I going to hit 3 balls hard in one game? I just did it, and all 3 were caught. Now, what are my chances tomorrow of hitting 3 balls hard? Now, if you're George Brett or Pete Rose, you don't think that way. But when you're the rest of us, now you try to keep that kind of a negative way of thinking out of your mind. Where you really feel good about hitting 3 balls hard that are caught, spring training. Because then you say to yourself, I don't want to waste any hits in spring training, but I feel great hitting the ball. In the season, you'd rather get jammed and break 3 bats to get a couple of hits than hit the ball hard.
So conversely, then, in spring training, you definitely didn't want those little bleeders and loops.
No, they didn't feel good. You knew you didn't hit the ball well, and you didn't want to waste any hits in spring training that way. No, that felt. If you got jammed and hit a blooper for a base hit, felt terrible. Felt the same way it would have felt if the guy caught it.
Jake Diekman looking good.
Whoa, look at that.
Nice pick at first by Guzman. Bails out Jurickson Profar and finishes a very efficient top of the 7th inning. Just 10 pitches needed for Jake Diekman.
Condor can play some first base, whether it's stretching, reaching, or showing some hands. Watch him pick that ball. That's not as easy as he made it look. That's not a short hop. That's a big hop. Beautiful play.
All right, 6-2. Rangers with the lead and hoping to add to it. Ronald Guzman, first pitch swinging. And he sends this one right out to center field. Fowler is there, and there's one away. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back once again to Dana Larson. All right, love it. Mariners right now smoking hot. And the Astros, look, they're still very good, but they've been playing pretty average baseball for them lately. So it might be a good time to catch them starting tomorrow in a big 4-game series here.
Astros are 3-7 in their last 10 games. And they 3-3 in the 7th. They could lose this one too.
Ball and a strike here to Shields, who's 0 for 2. Grounded out a couple of times to third base. See the in-game box score for the Rangers. A lot of the production bunched together in the 2 through 5 spots in the order. Yesterday, Delano, when he made that catch in the second inning, went crashing into the wall. It's almost like it was like a Charlie Brown scene where like the hat came off and just kind of exploded at the wall. And that shock of hair on top of his head. So he made a big change for this homestand. Emily, what is he doing? Tell me you weren't responsible for that.
I was not responsible for it, but I do know that the color that it was yesterday he was not pleased with, and that was merely a step to get to the color that it is today, which is more of a, there's almost like a blue. Okay, so that's last night. So that's more of a yellowy tint.
Yep.
Now what he's got going, it's almost borderlining. It's got some blue around the edges, but it is stark white. If you
Is
could
that
see
like his hair, or is that something he glued to his head?
Oh no, honey, it's that's his hair, Tom.
Oh, okay.
It's his hair. Yeah, he's putting some sort of product on it to get it that color. It was the topic of discussion in the clubhouse this afternoon, that's for sure.
Well, it looks good on him.
Yeah,
He can pull it off.
Yeah.
He can pull it off.
Now, so Emily, we saw the yellow yesterday, and I'm with you. I saw that white today. So white, like you say, it almost had a blue tinge to it. It was turning almost like translucent. I'm a bigger fan of what I saw yesterday. Where do you come down on this?
I think I'm a fan of what I'm seeing today.
Okay.
I like the starkness of it. I think the bright. There's somebody that has that look, and I'm not hip enough to know it. But
Odell Beckham might have had that look, I think.
You know what, Tom? That's not a bad guess. I think Odell Beckham was more vintage yesterday, though.
Oh.
But that's just me. I don't have the Odell Beckham image in my head just
Wesley
readily available.
Snipes and Demolition Man?
Perhaps. My pop culture references are pretty brutal at this point in my life. If it doesn't involve puppy dog
Cartoons.
pals or
Clifford the Big Red Dog?
exactly Camp Kikiwaka, I'm pretty much out on it. But I do know that his teammates thought it looked cool, and many were envious of the fact that they acknowledged they would in no way be able to pull off anything like that.
You know, a lot of times in baseball, when someone first grew a beard, other players were quick to follow. Same with a mustache, same with long hair in the old days. Do you think there's any opportunity for other guys to do the same thing?
I'm trying to think of a guy that might be able to pull that off.
Well, it looks like Steve Buechele's. I'm just
Steve
picking out of
Buechele
the
is
back.
at the forefront of that. It is kind of Steve Buechele.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm seeing a little something there. There it is.
There
Tell
is.
you what, if you can get Boo to come up with that haircut, you're
It's
gonna win a
amazing,
lot of
though.
money
You know,
from me.
Tom, there's a lot of downtime in baseball.
That's for sure.
Fly ball to left field. And Delano will have to scurry back to first. 2 away.
A lot of time for bits with facial hair, hair on your head. There's all kinds of bits going on.
So I've never dyed my hair, but so I saw him today. I saw Delano in the clubhouse today. He came walking by me. I looked at the hair, and I thought, oh my gosh, he must have put so much bleach in yesterday that it's still working, right? Because it had gone even a little bit lighter today. And I looked at him. I think my eyes got a little wider. I said, Delano, it's getting lighter. And he looked at me. He's like, that was the plan. I said, okay,
Yes.
all right, we're good. We're good. Looks
It's
great.
a process, guys. You can't just achieve that type of follicle success with just one step. Sometimes it takes more than one.
Yeah. Well, impressive. Very, very busy week here at home. As Kiner Falefa steps in. It looks like they were worried that Delano was going to take off there. A little pitch out, which you just don't see very often anymore. But Delano was not on the move. Hendricks 1-0, and it's on the inside corner for a strike. Kind of Falefa 1 for 3, had the infield hit in the 5th inning. His other 2 have been on the ground on the infield. Runner goes, pitches inside, throw down to second base, nowhere near in time. Delano with his 11th stolen base of the season, and then he had that one easily.
Yeah, he did. He got a great jump on that ball. 11 out of 13 now for Delano. And Delino has been in a little bit of a slump, which has kept his stolen base opportunities down. I'm sure in that situation he couldn't wait to get a jump and go. He was gone after that jump. I don't think there's anything Luke Roy could possibly have done to have any chance to keep him from stealing that base.
So now in scoring position for Kiner Falefa. Rangers 1 for 2 today with runners in scoring position. They've basically just been homering their way to the 6 runs tonight. A little bit in, 3-1. All right, so Jose Leclerc now getting ready out there as if he would pitch the 8th inning. Great job by Diekman in the 7th, Matt Bush in the 6th. Boy, the Shields off and running. The pitch high, throw down to third, not in time. So another stolen base, and Delino now just 90 feet away.
You don't see a steal of third base with 2 outs very often, and as a base runner you only attempt it if you're almost positive that you can make it. And I'm sure he felt that way, and by the results he was right.
A quick visit out there. Liam Hendricks has had to throw some extra pitches here through the 6th inning pretty efficiently, but has had to work here in the 7th. See there, the A's with just 2 mound visits remaining. Gives Kiner Falefa, or rather Mazara now a moment to step in. Ball 4 to Kiner Falefa. And Mazara takes outside for ball 1. Nomar, the double earlier. Two and 0. Well, you said it earlier, Tom. Rangers, I mean, it felt like they were in a home run derby in the first 4 or 5 innings, and like this was a blowout, but it's really only a 6-2 ball game.
Yeah, I know.
Oakland a potent offense. This is a big opportunity. Mazara swings and misses.
Yeah, he'd love to keep on scoring, add to the lead, take advantage of that 2-out walk. One of the last guys in the league you want to give a 2-out walk to is Delino DeShields, and he's shown why, because he'll steal second, steal third, and be in position to score in a lot of different ways right now.
Check it in on Kiner Falefa. I want to make sure that he doesn't find his way into scoring position. Infield pretty much straight away on Mazara. Much more conventional anyway. The count now 3-1. This would qualify as no shift anyway. Chapman and Simeon shaded just a little bit on the left side. Well, 22,335 enthusiastic fans here tonight. Runner goes, 3-1 pitch and a swing and a miss. It's a full count. Kiner Falefa with a steal of second base. Rangers won the opener yesterday, just a 2-game series. They have not swept a series this season. Well, in a great spot here tonight. Zara takes high. That's ball 4. They are loaded up. And Hendricks might be running out of gas. Here comes Bob Melvin, who signals to the bullpen. Well, they are loaded up. 7th inning. And Ryan Dull, the man coming on for Oakland.
Bring a photo or video with hashtag Hats Off for Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
What a night tonight. A warm one, 95 degrees at game time. Good breeze here today. The Rangers have hit 4 home runs. They lead 6-2, and a huge chance here against reliever Ryan Dull. Bases loaded, 2 out. See Dole's numbers, his 17th appearance of the year.
Well, he's got to face Jurickson Profar, who's swinging the bat pretty well in this one. A couple of home runs.
First pitch, and Dole misses very high, ball 1.
Sitting here looking at my scorecard, Dave, and I think I said that Delano had a 2-out walk. It was not a 2-out walk, it was a 1-out walk. Probably in the middle of my mindless drivel about hair last inning. I kind of lost track of what was going on in my scorecard.
Yeah, the hair can throw all of us off a little bit. It's understandable. 1-1 to count. So here is Delano to Shields, now at third base after a couple of steals. Chu, or rather Kenner Falefa, stole second base after his walk, and there's Nomar Mazara, who also walked.
Well, if there's ever an inning where you want to take advantage of an opportunity, this is it right here.
Profar lifts it back of short. Out goes Simeon, and he can't quite get it. 1 run is in. Kiner Falefa scores. They'll stop Mazara at third. A 2-run bloop by Profar, and the Rangers tack on 2 big insurance runs.
Simeon got there. It was questionable whether he'd be able to get back quickly enough to reach that little blooper. Sliced into left field. He gets there, but he cannot keep the ball in his glove. So, Dave, that's one of those bloopers. If you get that hit in spring training, it does absolutely nothing for you. But you do that with the bases loaded during the regular season, and you're sitting on first with a 2-run single, and now had 5 RBIs in the game, you're feeling on top of the world.
Yeah, that is a good day for Profar. 2-run homer earlier, solo shot in the third, and now that 2-run bloop. And Gallo swings and misses at strike 1. Gallo had a Ruthian clout back in the first inning.
It's one of those examples of taking advantage of your opportunity. You look at the inning from the A's standpoint and you say the only hit in that inning was a little blooper that went off the shortstop's glove. But preceding that were walks that gave him the opportunity to knock in those runs. And the hitter will always say, hey, there's plenty of balls that I hit right at somebody too, so I had that one coming.
It's just the 9th hit this year for the Rangers with the bases loaded. Gallo takes in the dirt, 1 and 2. 9 for 43. So Profar with 5 RBIs. Second time this year we've seen a Ranger drive in 5 runs in a game. Nomar Mazara did it against the Red Sox early May. Gallo takes very high. It's 2 and 2.
A's are a team that don't walk a lot of batters, especially Daniel Mengden. But that has not been the case in this game. A lot of walks. Daniel walked 3 in 4 innings. That's almost unheard of for him. He was walking less than 1 batter per 9 innings coming into the game.
Full count. You know, Gallo has the great power, and this Saturday, the first 15,000 fans to the ballpark are going to get a Joey Gallo tape measure bobblehead, courtesy of Dairy Max. Be there as the Astros and Rangers get together once again, a 6:15 game. You can get this one-of-a-kind bobblehead. Your tickets are available at TexasRangers.com. 3-2, and Gallo will see another one. Joey with a strikeout and a line out. We saw him make some good contact yesterday before cashing in a home run late. Runner goes at first. Check swing. Oh, he did go, according to third base umpire Larry Vanover. Oh, that is a tough strikeout for Joey Gallo. And the inning is done. Rangers leave him on the corners, but they had two big insurance runs. Jurickson Profar, career high, 5 RBIs. And has the Rangers in front, 8-2.
Day in a row, the Rangers have had a home run onslaught, and it started right in the first inning. Jurickson Profar, a 2-run, 2-out homer. Joey Gallo followed with an upper deck tape measure shot. Go to the next to the third inning. Jurickson Profar, his second one into the seats in right field. And then the fourth home run of the game came in the fourth inning. Ronald Guzman, the Condor, launched a majestic home run into the upper deck in right field. 4 home runs for the Rangers in this one, 5 of them yesterday, and the Rangers lead 8-2.
Meanwhile, Jake Diekman comes out to do a little more work here in the 8th inning. So he gets Chris Davis and then Matt Olson, a left-handed hitter. Down on the dirt, it's 1-1. Davis homered in the 5th inning, his 15th home run of the year. As Tom pointed out at the time, number 100 for Davis since the start of the 2016 season, which is most in Major League Baseball. And he lifts this one down the right side, foul, out of play. You think of all the great home run hitters and great power hitters in the game right now, and you could list off a number of them who you might guess have been leading Major League Baseball in home runs since 2016, and very few would probably have guessed Chris Davis.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise Ranger fans because we've seen it.
And Oakland fans, of course, in tune to it as well. 2-2 the count.
AL West fans probably wouldn't be shocked. A lot of fans on the East Coast might be, though.
Good looking pitch, just missed. Strong right-handed hitter, and he hits this ball on the ground up the middle, and that is through for a base hit. So Davis with his second hit of the night, and that's how we start the 8th inning.
First baseman Matt Olson.
A good look at that base hit up the middle. Had a pretty good hole to shoot for. He's not really shooting for a base hit up the middle, though. That's just what happened that time. He's shooting for something that goes up in the air and out of the ballpark.
So now the left-handed hitting Olson, and he lines this one into left field. And back-to-back singles for the A's to start this 8th inning. And here comes Jeff Bannister. So he was in there to get Olson, but it didn't work out, and now that puts a little more pressure on Jose Leclerc. But what the heck? That's what Jose does. He inherits runners and he leaves them there, and he's coming on in the 8th. Reminder, you can come out tomorrow, autograph session with Chris Martin, Rangers reliever, and of course Arlington native. He'll be at the Whataburger at 125 Sycamore School Road in Fort Worth, and it starts at 10:30 in the morning. Now while you're there, sign up to be the Whataburger What a Fan, and you can win tickets to an upcoming Rangers game as well as Whataburger for a year. Go to TexasRangers.com/appearances for more information. Hope to have you out there tomorrow. Meanwhile, here, interesting spot. Jose Leclerc has come on again. You cannot bring him in a game. I believe it's a rule unless there's a minimum of 2 runners on base. And that's the situation here. Davis at second, Olsen at first.
Well, Banny used him that way last night, just a short outing, and he got out of that kind of an inning. And today he was talking about Leclerc, and he said that's one of the reasons he left him in for a short period of time last night, so that he could use him again today if he had to. And here we are in a similar situation, couple of men on. Jose's coming in to try to do what he's been doing well all season long.
Well, that graphic told you exactly why. Best in the business at coming in these tight spots and leaving those runners on base. Now he gets the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the A's order. Ostensibly, you'd say to yourself, well, okay, that's better than getting 2, 3, and 4. But this is a tough lineup top to bottom. Some guys with some thunder in their bats, and Matt Chapman one of them. But he takes strike 2. He's walked today, flat out to right, grounded out to third base. "25 years old, a former first-round pick. And Leclerc gets him to foul that one back, stays 1-2. Look back at Chapman's numbers, and you know, pretty limited big league time for him so far, but he does strike out at a pretty high rate. 63 strikeouts so far this year. The 1-2 pitch, and strike 3 called. He goes down looking here in the 8th.
Okay, he brought that off-speed pitch right down into the inside part of the strike zone, trying to throw it down and away. It stays up and in. Tough pitch to hit, but it did catch the top of the strike zone. Sometimes if you can throw that on purpose, you'd have a pretty good pitch, but trying to hang a pitch is not necessarily what the pitcher wants to do. Turned out okay on that one, though. It hung enough to where the hitter couldn't pull the trigger on it.
Now Jonathan Lucroy, who takes a high fastball for ball 1. Lucroy with an infield hit today, 1 for 3. And that one on the corner, 1-1 the count. So the former Ranger used to catch Leclerc. Now facing him for just the 2nd time in his career. Last time they squared off, Leclerc walked him. Lucroy in a bit of a funk lately at the plate for Oakland. He swings and misses that strike 2. Couldn't catch up to the heat there at 96 miles per hour.
Jonathan's got a little routine he does after every pitch. Fixes his gloves, flips the bat, grabs his shoulders, steps back in. If he gets another pitch in that at bat, probably watch him do the exact same thing again.
1-2. And he sends this one out to right field. Heading into the corner into foul ground for it, Mazzara, but runs out of room. Yeah, he's probably going to adjust those sleeves again. A lot of tugging and fussing on those sleeves.
Yeah. Last several times it's been almost the exact same order. Doesn't have time to do the batting gloves. No one did it better than Mike Hargrove,
oh
though.
Boy, or longer.
The human rain delay.
1-2, and that's upstairs. Now we say nobody, but Nomar Garciaparra got pretty close.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he could stretch out and at bat.
Well, Jonathan doesn't do the batting gloves every time. Touches the shoulders pretty frequently, though.
You bat alive with another foul ball.
Good fastball right there on the inside part of the plate, 96 miles an hour.
I don't want to call them nervous ticks, so I wouldn't say these guys are necessarily nervous, right? It's just sort of little parts of the routine. Did you have anything? I mean, most guys
Not
probably
that
don't
I
even
remember
realize.
that I, felt like I was doing every time. Some of it I think is almost done subconsciously. I don't think they even realize they're doing some of those things. It's just a matter of habit.
2-2. And a swing and a miss. Strike three. Back-to-back strikeouts for Leclerc. 2 away.
Jose showing why he's so tough to hit. The opponent's batting average against him is a little bit above 100. And when you watch the assortment of pitches that he has, you can see why. Pitch before this, 96 miles an hour right on the inside corner. It's hard to call what his pitches are because of that cut slider he throws. That ball looked almost like a curveball. So regardless of how he holds it and what he calls it, if you just watched what it did, you probably would call it a curveball.
Yeah, he
Hitters
would like
just
to
call
claim
it hard to hit.
Yeah. We'd like to tell you they're just 2 changeups. And I mean, a curveball is kind of a changeup, right? It's a change of pace, but that one certainly acts a little bit like it. It is strange. It throws a lot of people off. 1 strike pitch to Canna. And that's a little wide, 1-1. Canna's had a decent night, 2 hits and 3 tries. Well, Oakland came into play a game over 500 at 31-30. It's really been a nice start to the season for them. Rangers won the opener yesterday, though, and have a 6-run lead here tonight. Clerk just a little wide again, 2-1. We opened the broadcast today talking about the come from behind wins, the big power bats of the Rangers. And Tom, you just kind of slyly slipped in there a note that you can't come back in these games like the Rangers have without a really good bullpen, and they have been fantastic.
Yeah, they have kept the other team from scoring and allowed their team to come back.
Fly ball out to right field. Mazzara coming in, and that one drops down in front of him. Davis around third. He'll come to the plate. The throw. Got him!
What a throw.
4th outfield assist of the season for Nomar Mazzara, and he guns down Davis by a step at home plate. Inning over.
Keeps an inherited runner from being charged to Jose Leclerc as well.
Ooh, you run through a stop sign.
Down 8-2. That's not good. Is he out though? Let's see.
Well, the A's thinking about challenging it. It looks like Bob Melvin is going to ask for the challenge here. Yep. Another brilliant throw from Nomar Mazzara, and at least for the moment looks as if Jose Leclerc has worked out of another sticky spot.
Yeah, I guess from that angle the question is his left foot on the base or is it up in the air? It's on the ground there.
I don't think they're going to get that one overturned.
I don't think it touched the plate, did it?
They did not. He is out on review, and the inning is done. Jose Leclerc does it again, thanks in large part to the help from Nomar Mazzara. Eight-2 Rangers lead. Good defense throwing in all this mess today. This has been a fun one.
There's been a lot of nice defense tonight. The A's have made a number of nice defensive plays, especially Matt Olson around the bag at first base. Boy, the Rangers have had their share of them too.
Odor 0 for 3, leading things off here in the 8th inning. And Ryan Dole Deals low. Dole got the final out of the 7th when he struck out Gallo. Close pitch too. It was a check swing. Door in a hole here, 1-2. We have seen Rugi lately. We've talked about the bunts. We've seen that, some infield hits, but we have seen him go the other way with a decent amount of regularity, especially against these kinds of shifts. He had a huge bases clearing double in Anaheim and a come from behind win, and it was a hit out into left field. I mean, he just kind of, I don't want to say a half swing, but clearly with the intent of poking it the other way, and it worked beautifully. Fouls this one away. It stays 2-2.
Oh, a one-handed grab by the man in the front row. I can't wait to give it to a kid. Nice play.
Well, so not going to limit the great defense and great plays to the field. Might as well be
right into the stands tonight.
There's our kid. He's going to thank the gentleman.
Say thank you very much. That's nice.
Bouncer to shortstop with the third baseman Chapman will throw out Odor, one away. Time for a word from our friends from Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
All right, here's Robinson Chirinos. One out, 8th inning. Chirinos has walked twice today. We talked about it a little bit. Average might not be as high as Robinson would want it, but his on-base percentage is over 300. See, the batting average now is dipped below the Mendoza line, down to 199. He has some good power to go with a decent on base, and does such a nice job behind the plate. Batting 7th tonight, and he shoots this one foul. 1-2 the count. Well, if the Rangers can hold on and win this one tonight, they will have won 9 of their last 15 games. Swinging a high pop-up back our direction. Stays 1-2. Jeff Spicoli made the play back here. At the ball now. He couldn't find a kid to give it to. Swing and a miss, and Chirinos strikes out. 2 gone here in the 8th inning. So Dole now a nice job of relief here so far. A scoreless inning for him. Now here is Ronald Guzman. Guzman homered earlier tonight, a big 2-run homer in the 4th inning. He's taken some big swings. Now sitting on 7 homers in this his rookie season. 1-1 the count. And it is funny when you see guys get to the big leagues, start to get playing time, and see what sort of numbers they put up. Sometimes they don't fully resemble what they did in the minor leagues. 1-2. Partly because some of them say the pitchers are more predictable. So they feel like they can guess along with the pitcher. Maybe guys have a little more control around the zone a little bit more. And for Guzman, that apparently is working to his advantage. And he takes strike 3. He did not like that one. Guccione rings him up and the inning is done. So off to the 9th inning we go. Rangers with a 6-run lead.
Airline. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas.
What a beautiful look from outside as we bring you inside Globe Life Park. 8-2. Rangers with the lead here in the 9th inning and need 3 more outs to complete this 2-game series with Oakland and sweep the series. Tony Barnett is on here in the 9th inning. We get the 9th place hitter and then back to the top for Fowler and Simeon. Good range, rather assortment of pitches for Tony Barnett, primarily a fastball pitcher. Nick Martini is the 9th place hitter. Martini came in to pitch hit a little bit earlier for Pinder. That was in the 6th inning. And he just missed his first big league hit. He bounced one down to first, and Ronald Guzman made a really nice play. Get up and take the high bouncer out of the air and steal a hit from Martini. It's just his 2nd major league at bat here, and he takes outside 2-1. That's a strike. 2-2. So here it was back in the 6th.
He's been very impressive defensively because of his reach on a play like that, but also his hands and his ability to scoop balls in the dirt to save infielders' errors or catch ground balls that take a bad hop. He's agile for a big guy. He's got the obvious reach. You could anticipate that just looking at him. But he's also got a nice soft set of hands and a strong, accurate arm too. He's got all the qualities to be an outstanding defensive player.
3-2. This one in the air to left field. Gallo ranges over. 1 away.
Let's take a look at some of the defense we're talking about from Ronald tonight. He's had some opportunities to make some nice plays. There's the hands on a tough hop. That's not an easy play to make. There's the reach going far to his right. And there's the scoop of a very tough short hop to make. It looks easy when you see a big league player make that play or when you watch it in slow motion. But to be able to gauge how much that ball is going to hop and have your glove right in the right place, not easy.
1-0 pitch, and that one blasted
even
through.
The Condor couldn't catch that one.
Nope. That one right past him for a hit for Dustin Fowler. So a new series tomorrow. We take a look at our Ford pitching probables. And Garrett Cole, the new face in that Astros rotation. How about that? A 4-0 record. 2.89 ERA his last 7. But Cole Hamels been red hot for the Rangers as well. Great pitching matchup tomorrow. Our pregame coverage begins at 6:30.
Yeah, if you're looking at that Astros series and you say I want to see a pitching matchup, I would pick that one. Cole has been throwing the ball, I would think, in the last 7 starts probably as well as he has at any time as a Ranger. And Garrett Cole's been terrific all season long, and the Rangers have seen him at his best earlier in the season.
Marcus Simeon now up there and rolls this one shortstop. Profar, quick flip Odor, bare hand, turns and throws in time for the double play, and this one is over. The Rangers sweep the Oakland A's, their first sweep of the year. 8-2 the final score, and Bartolo Colon is now in the history books, tied with Juan Marichal for the most wins ever by a Dominican-born pitcher. Pretty cool.
No, it's a good way to end it. Good pitch by Tony Barnett. A slider away, hit the batter right off the end of the bat. And the Rangers turn an easy double play. Caps off a really nice 2-game stretch of baseball for the Rangers. They got some good pitching, they got some excellent defense, and they hit the long ball. They powered the ball out of the ballpark and scored all their runs by way of the home run. 9 of them in 2 days.
Had so many of those come from behind wins lately, those heart stoppers. Today they got out front early. It's kind of fun to do those as well. And one of the big contributors early was Jurickson Profar.
Yeah, Jurickson had a career game. Early in the game, first inning, it's a 2-run homer to right field. 3rd inning, he hits another one. I said all the runs scored by way of the home run. The first 6 did. The last 2 scored on a bases loaded, soft base hit just over Marcus Semien into left field for a base hit. So the 2 home runs by Jurickson drove in 3. The base hit drove in 2. 5 total for the game.
All right, and he is standing by with Emily Jones.
Thank you very much, Jurickson Profar. We got a little bubblegum bath there. You obviously have been seeing the ball very well. We weren't in this place too long ago when you talked about just kind of relaxing, having fun, and playing the game. How big has that been for you?
It was very big, you know, just trying to stay calm and just get better every day. That's my goal, and I've been doing good.
Yeah, when you get the increased playing time, you know you're going to be in the lineup every day. How big is that for your mentality?
That's very big. Like I said, I just come to the field and, you know, just keep working on the things that I want to get better, and not worrying about if I'm playing tonight or something. But you know, our team is doing great too. That's helping me a lot.
You guys, with home runs last night, home runs tonight, the offense finally starting to click, and you're getting it from the pitching aspect. It seems like top to bottom, you guys are getting team efforts night in and night out.
Since the beginning of the season, we were doing pretty good at getting runners on base, but we weren't getting them in. But we're starting to do that, so that's why we're doing a lot better.
Are the home runs contagious? It seems like they are.
Yes. Hopefully we keep doing it.
Jurickson, thanks so much. We appreciate the time, guys. We'll send it back up to you.
Yes, and if that's the case, then he has a bad case of the home runs. And that's great news. So Profar of the Rangers, 8-2 win. Dana Larson, Mark McLemore, and David Murphy back in the studio, ready to break it all down for you tonight. For Tom Grieve, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. More coverage of this Rangers sweep of the A's right after this.